Few things represent ARK's survival ascended as well as the island. Besides game-breaking bugs, of course, you have to conquer a variety of different biomes, complete a Googleplex worth of caves, and eventually defeat 3 unique bosses, all for the privilege of finally facing the Overseer, all in the name of Ascension. With a task as gargantuan as that, it begs the question, where should you even begin? What are some good early game tames? Where can I get all the resources I need to progress? And most importantly, how do I survive my first few days as a beach bop? Don't worry, my friends, for I am here to answer all of these questions, because not only are we going to take on every challenge this map has to offer, we are going to attempt to do it in just 100 days. But just like any good story, it only makes sense to start at the beginning. Welcome to the island. Now, the first thing you'll want to concern yourself with is base location. Okay, I mean, you do still need to go around punching trees to make tools and stuff, but nobody survives on the island without a place to call home. As the leader of our tribe, it was my job to make that decision, and I knew immediately that I wanted our base to be within immediate vicinity of a supply crate. It's like building your house in the flight zone of an Amazon delivery drone. But since none of us have ever beaten this map, we didn't actually know the drop locations of any of the supply crates. I mean, I do have 1,000 hours in Survival Evolved, but as far as ARK players are concerned, that's like beating the tutorial. And most of these hours were actually spent on Extinction, so that experience is not going to help me with my current problem at hand. Either way, whilst I was keeping a lookout for any beacons in the sky, Birdie had a different agenda. Birdie, what are you doing? Birdie, what the hell are you doing, Birdie? I don't want to have to travel with a stupid dodo, man.
No!
Oh, we have height now. Yeah, keep asking it.
Yeah, that's exactly my plan.
Oh, look, there's more dodos here.
Oh, look, more hide.
Okay, if we find a high level one, we can tame it. But other than that, they're just for hide.
Acceptable.
Now, this might seem out of pocket, but there actually is a method to the madness. Besides Birdie just really being into bird-like creatures, taming and breeding dodos is actually not a bad thing to do early on. We can use the eggs to tame a creature that's going to be useful literally all the way until day 100, the Oviraptor. We'll get into why this dino is so useful once we find one. But for now, just know that we had already decided to want to stay somewhere in this vicinity, so between rounds of hitting rocks, we went about taming any high-level dodos we could find. And of course, disposing of any that did not meet our criteria. My own first tame was actually supposed to be a moss chops. They make for great early game fiber and berry farmers and can be ridden without a saddle. However, they can also be really picky about the kind of food you have to stuff into them in order to tame them. But none of that really mattered because the boys had already decided that they wanted to tame something else. This better be good. No freaking way.
Oh my god.
That good or what?
I want it.
It's level 25. We don't even have a
Look
saddle.
how cute it is.
Okay, we're gonna need a better way to knock it out then.
This is so ridiculous looking.
Now, don't get me wrong, Castros are great. They are amazing at harvesting wood, they reduce the weight of said wood in their inventory, and they're absolutely adorable. The only problem, we wouldn't be able to make a saddle for them until level 61. Even with 1.5x rates on pretty much everything, that was not gonna happen for a while. But part of being a tribe leader is meeting the needs of your tribe. They wanted a beaver, and by god, they were gonna get a beaver. Even without being able to ride it, Cassie would still be useful when farming wood just as a mobile storage box that can hold absolute boatloads of it. We also eventually decided to settle down in this area because it was getting dark and we did not want to spend the night without shelter. Oh yeah, remember how I said we have 100 days to beat the map? I didn't actually tell my friends about that. So by the end of day 1, I figured it was time to come clean. We have 100 days to defeat the Overseer of the island.
I don't know what that means, but okay.
Oh, it gets worse. We can't use any flyers until we defeated the first boss.
What?
As a means of making things more interesting, and because people usually do the 100 days challenge solo, I decided to spice things up. We would not be allowed to use any flyers until we defeated the first boss, no cryopods until we destroyed the second boss, and, well, by the time we killed the third boss, the challenge is almost over, so it really didn't make sense to add any more stipulations. Point being, things were not gonna be easy, even with an entire tribe of idiots taking on this challenge. Speaking of challenge, in the early hours of day 2, we just so happened to stumble upon not one, but 2 Therizzinos. These tickle chickens might look funny at first, but they're pretty much the T-Rexes of the herbivore kingdom, and as such, not to be messed with this early on. We had to pack things up and fast. Our only means of escape was building a raft, and placing everything we owned on top of it was being stalked by these monsters, which was a great idea until our boat got stuck. Not once, but twice. You guys see this?
No shot. No.
Bro.
No, not again. No.
You've got to be kidding me. Yeah, this was not gonna happen. The only thing we could do now was fight. There was no creature we could tame at this stage that could take on a Therizino, let alone two. However, we could use our superior human intellect and a lot of weapons to take the fight to the source of our oppression. We needed crossbows, but to make crossbows, we needed metal, and we were nowhere near any sort of mountain where that resource would be plentiful. The trick? River rocks. These flat-looking stones can be harvested for metal to kickstart your progression before you are ready to venture deeper inland. Oh yeah, I also tamed a moss chops with a rare flower I got from Cassie's beaver dam. We spent pretty much the entirety of day 2 hitting river rocks, farming fiber, and slaughtering the local wildlife for hide until eventually we were locked and loaded. See what that stupid tickled chicken is gonna do about that. Turns out, not a heck of a lot, as long as we kept it at arm's length. Because these stupid birds had not discovered climbing technology, taking them out once we were armed was actually not that difficult. I got it! Can I get a yippee?
Yippee!
Yeah, not quite the achievement I initially thought this was going to be. Emboldened as we felt after finishing our first hunt, we were humbled very quickly when our attempts of going further inland were met with an absolutely massive Alpha T-Rex. Alpha creatures are bigger and stronger variants of regular dinos that cannot be tamed. They do give a ton of XP when killed, but a Therizino this was not. And as such, we decided to retreat to someplace a bit more safe. But not before knocking out an Oviraptor, realizing we didn't have enough dodo eggs to tame it, unaliving them, and then claiming its offspring instead. Anyway, where was I? Oh right, a safe place to live. By far the safest place on the entire map is a piece of land often referred to as Herbivore Island. I'll give you a second to think about why it's considered the safest place. Setting up a base there would help us catch our bearings without getting interrupted by Therizinos and Alpha T-Rexes, with at least a few metal nodes, plenty of wood, and a plethora of non-hostile creatures to keep you company. Except that, even here, danger was not completely out of the question.
Why is this truck attacking us?
It's gonna take me a hot second to get there.
Oh no, all the trucks are attacking me!
What'd you do, Birdie?
I don't know, I didn't do anything!
I can't believe I leave you alone for like 15 seconds. You're already starting.
I didn't do anything! I don't know why he started attacking.
These things don't just... The whole reason we're here is because they don't just randomly attack.
I know, I'm just as confused as you are!
As it turned out, the threat of our own stupidity was ever present, but once the trike incident had been taken care of, we could go about getting a foothold on this island. We spent the entire rest of day 2 as well as the majority of day 3 just harvesting and building to create a place we could call home. Though special attention was given to the raft. Since we didn't have any flyers to make use of, we needed a different mode of transportation. And what better way to travel than on a mobile home?
Cliff, this is a 110 pit pterodon. Wait, we can't have flyers, dang it!
Yeah, we cannot
Dang
be having that, birds. We also went about getting a couple ankylos so we could harvest the metal nodes on the island a bit more efficiently. A simple thatch hut would do, since really our base was just meant for shelter from the elements and not to defend us against dinos, whereas the ship would have to keep us safe from anything we discover on our travels. And I decided to call this newly conquered land New Man's Landing. All this building gave me a bunch of levels to put into some essential engrams we would need very soon. Something we didn't need, but I definitely wanted, was to differentiate myself from the rest of my tribe. As the leader of this group, it was important for me to look the part, something that my friends did pick up on fairly quickly. Why do you insist on not wearing a shirt, by the way?
I think it's funny.
Okay.
Well, I can't. Well, I want to look like you.
How do you look so dripped?
I know.
I don't know what. I'm just a survivor like the rest of you.
Man went to Texas once and he's coming back looking like this. Howdy doody, feller.
Wait.
I need my shirt.
Oh my god!
This town ain't big enough for the both of us.
Well, this town barely big enough for the one of you, Jesus Christ. Yeah, so much for me trying to differentiate myself. Either way, we had a lot of work to do. All of day 4 was spent getting more tames and collecting even more resources to finish our houseboat, as well as the base at New Man's Landing was also working towards some vital upgrades. You see, where we wanted to go, our primitive crossbows definitely would not cut it. We wanted to get our hands on some fairly powerful creatures, and to subdue these beasts, we would need to pack more heat. I'm talking about some rifles. Since both Birdie as well as Brandon are American, I figured it made sense to bestow the honor of our first firearm upon the two of them, which they promptly decided to test out on the local wildlife, chasing a Bronto like the big game hunters that they are. How you liking it, boys?
I love it.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go kill a T-Rex now.
They are naturals, and Birdie was not wrong. If there's an herbivore island, that means there must also be a carnivore island. All we needed now was to grab some crystal from a nearby cave to finish the final piece of our prep. a fabricator. This would allow us to create even more advanced tools, weapons, and machineries, provided we can get our hands on the materials to craft them. Materials which would be more abundant in the northern half of the map, so we made way towards more bountiful lands. Just that with more bounty also comes more danger. As we passed by the eastern swamps, we found ourselves chased by a couple of sarcos. Whilst the first one was easily disposed of by virtue of it being level 10 and us having, well, guns, the second one was a bit more feisty, prompting me to want to check its level.
No, there's another one.
Level 115! Don't kill it! Do not kill, that's a high level.
Okay, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Damn, it's destroying everything. Oh, God. Okay, need to get to land.
Ow.
Damn, attack something else, please.
It's attacking me.
Hold on, I'm gonna aggro it.
Crap.
It's on lane. It's on lane.
Excellent.
Use the tranks.
Tranks.
I don't have any. This is all you guys.
I have 52.
How is it dealing so much damage? No, don't shoot it with a gun!
Birdie, we're not killing it.
Oh my god.
It was a risky maneuver, but one that could pay off big time. It had already destroyed our brand new fabricator, among other things, but a sarco would make for a fantastic first carnivorous tame. They are fast in the water and pack a decent punch. Once it began torpo running from all the tranquilizers we put into it, we began spacing out our shots to make sure we didn't accidentally kill it. And it did take some effort, but eventually it went down. We tamed it by feeding it prime meat, which we harvested from a baby turtle that just so happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. And just before the end of day 4, she was ours. Since Brandon definitely suffered the most as part of this taming process, and because she had kinda race stripe looking colors, he decided to call her NASCAR. And we didn't know this at the time, but this was the beginning of a wonderful friendship. And with her help, we would be able to make landfall on Carno Island in the early hours of day 5, where we had been immediately greeted by a yellow drop. And the loot was pretty good. We spent the better part of this day just sailing around the island, collecting every drop whilst keeping a lookout for other creatures to tame. And of course, killing a couple of T-Rexes here and there. At one point, we did make an attempt to go deeper inland, but were immediately humbled by some high-level Microraptors. As much of a beast as NASCAR was, getting stunned off your tame will always be very deadly. But the loot on Carno Island was so good that we didn't even feel bothered by that. But what really gave us a bunch of momentum was this.
We got a ballista turret.
What?
What?
A toilet.
Oh my god, we got a
artifact
toilet!
pedestal.
Oh my god!
So what is the actual
Benefit of a toilet.
I need to show you why this is a game changer. Do any of you need to poop right now? Okay, now get off of it. Flush.
How do I flush? Oh.
What has been added to your inventory?
Fertilizer, let's go.
Fertilizer!
Holy balls!
We can
That's
literally produce
amazing.
fertilizer with this. It's so good. I know this is kind of lame by comparison, but I guess we might as well do it. Woohoo.
Yeah, that's not very cool.
Yeah,
It's not a toilet, so like...
it's no toilet.
But okay, there is one use this thing has. Let me show you. I have 150 metal in my inventory now.
Oh my
Holy
god.
Hey! Okay, someone needs to take this off me because I'm encumbered. We were on the up and up. Toilets are notoriously expensive to craft in the early game, but once acquired, you can set up an entire farm to grow all the crops you need for any potion, buff food, or kibble. The days we spent preparing in peace definitely paid off because now we got to catch up on all the supply crates we never got to pick up. Lord knows we needed that loot because without a flyer, collecting supply drops would be rather difficult. At the end of our day, we collected a bunch of high-tier equipment as well as an Ascendant crossbow with over 200% damage. All of our tames survived, we brought along another Oviraptor, and NASCAR got a whole bunch of levels for all the T-Rexes she ate along the way. With that kind of a head start, the Overseer doesn't stand a chance. Now let's assume that, hypothetically, you want to beat the island in 100 days. You're going to need a lot of dinosaurs to make that happen, an army for every boss, a few specialized tames to survive in the different regions of the map, and a cute little bugger to call friend. How do you tame these creatures? Are they a knockout tame? Does the level matter? What the heck are you supposed to feed them? And most importantly, what kind of trap would stop them from eating your face? Welcome to Taming for Dummies, where I'm going to teach you the basics of how to tame most of the basic creatures in ARK Survival Ascended, because as it just so happened, that scenario was not hypothetical and I only have 95 days left to beat this map. So let's get cracking. Before going out to actually tame these creatures, I had to prepare. There are a few things we're going to need before any taming can take place, that being narcotics, tranquilizers, a trap, and kibble. Every creature we need to beat this map is a simple knockout tame, meaning all you have to do is pump tranquilizers into it until it gets knocked out. Most of the creatures we are looking for can be captured in the same basic trap, using 4 stone foundations, 8 walls to place as door frames, and 4 ramps. That's it. I mean, my personal favorite trap is the triple metal sign, but that's not super early game friendly. There are a lot of specialized traps out there that work really well, but that requires you to A, remember what you need to build them, and B, also remember how to build them. This 484 trap is not the best trap by any means, but it will do for most of what we are looking to tame today. Finally leading us to kibble. Kibble is a bit more of a difficult proposition. Basically, every tier of creature desires a certain tier of kibble. You can create higher tiers by using eggs of dinosaurs who correspond to that tier. That's to say, kibble that is made out of T-Rex eggs can be used to effectively tame any creature of the same class as a T-Rex, as well as any below the class of the T-Rex. But you couldn't use it to tame, let's say, a Uteranus and expect the same level of efficiency because the UT is of a higher class. Don't worry, you don't actually need to remember any of that. Personally, I just go to Dodo decks to check what kind of kibble the creatures I need want to consume. Unfortunately for me, the highest tier of kibble I could produce was the lowest one using Dodo eggs, so that would not be that useful for the variety of creatures I was aiming to capture for my army. But you can still achieve a high level of taming efficiency by using basically any crops for herbivores and prime meat for carnivores. It's just gonna take longer than if you used kibble, and since you also need crops to produce kibble in the first place, it's a win-win. So for now, I was building out a base on Herbivore Island to produce the crops and narcoberries we needed. You might remember that we harvested some crystal in a nearby cave on the last episode. We needed that to build a greenhouse structure to assist in growing our produce, because without it, well, let's just say 100 days will be cutting it close. And of course, finding a toilet in a drop was an absolute godsend to further help our crops to grow by turning poop into fertilizer. Though I did take a break occasionally to go out and collect supply drops on NASCAR whilst waiting for my crops to grow, and boy howdy was that ever a good decision. Not only did NASCAR just get a 6 saddle upgrade, but I also found some metal structures I could tear down for additional resources. Resources which would allow me to further upgrade both our houseboat as well as our base.
Oh, hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Hopefully this one doesn't get destroyed. Since all of my friends were doing that thing where they have to have real jobs instead of playing dinosaur game with me all day, it fell on me to take care of any farming, upgrading, and advancing that had to take place. It took until day 7 until everything was in place and ready for me to go out and do some actual taming. So what are we looking for? A few things actually. As for our boss armies, there are 3 specific creatures I wanted to tame. A Megatherium to fight the Broodmothers, since those get an insane damage buff when fighting bugs. A T-Rex to take to the Megapithecus, because the big monkey does not have any specific mechanics we have to worry about. And a Therizino to fight the dragon, since that scaly bastard deals bonus damage to carnivores, and Theris are pretty much the toughest herbivores you can stuff into a boss arena. Oh yeah, obviously we're going to need a breeding pair of each of these so we can raise them into their respective armies. The problem is finding them. For our purposes, that being the gamma difficulty of these boss fights, anything above level 100 could potentially be good enough. If I wanted to push higher difficulties, I'd definitely insist to tame creatures as close to the max level of 150 as possible. But since we only had 100 days and a self-imposed challenge to not use any flyers until we defeated the first boss, again, anything above 100 would have to do. I went back to our original spawn location, remembering that we got harassed by a bunch of Therizinos on our second day. Unfortunately, the island is absolutely notorious for spawning low-level creatures, so to free up the spawn for a new one, I had to take out the ones that did not meet my criteria. Which, by the way, a Parasaur is not a great combat tame. I needed a solution. I could not venture very far because there was an alpha T-Rex on the loose, and I could not promote them respawning here where I knew they spawned because my Parasaur was not exactly built for cooling the population of roided up tickle chickens. My solution? Tame up that level 55 tickle chicken and use it to slaughter its brethren. That is, if I can get it into the trap. Alright, come on buddy, get over here. Okay, who put this tree here? Get rid of this tree! God damn it. Come on bud. Come on. Seriously? You're just not gonna let me go? Okay, dude. Thankfully, it did eventually fall into the trap and I could begin laying into it. Now, what you want to do when using a crossbow, especially for creatures that are not super tanky, is spacing out your shots. Basically, a bunch of torpidity is applied to the creature at the time of incision, but more residual torpidity is added over time for a couple of seconds. If you spam your arrows too fast, you are cancelling that residual benefit, meaning it takes more shots to knock it out and the chance of you killing it by accident increases. Something you don't have to worry about when using tranquilizer darts in a long neck rifle, because all of its torpidity is imparted upon impact. Eventually, the creature is going to do something called torpor running. Basically, it stops trying to fight you and instead makes an attempt to run away, which is a sign showing that they are about to go unconscious. Once it is out, stuff their preferred food into the inventory and make sure to not let it get hit by anything during the taming process. There is something called taming efficiency, which is dictated by the kind of food you feed them, but also by how much they get hit whilst unconscious. If anything hits them at all, your efficiency goes down and you might as well let it wake up to restart the process, because the lower the efficiency, the fewer levels it gets on top of its original level after taming. Now, in my attempt to keep my trapped Therizino safe, I was trying to take out anything that could pose a threat around it. Unfortunately, in the process, I accidentally pissed off a Dimorphodon, and now its entire family was seeking retribution. Dimorphodons have the unique ability to hit the rider of a tame rather than the tame itself, leading to my eventual demise. And when I returned to pick up the stuff from my body, all of my taming supplies had disappeared. The annoying thing about Therizinos is that they wake up very quickly, and since I had lost all of my narcotics, I had to use my parasaur to farm narco berries to keep it down the old school way, which went really well until I got an uninvited visitor. Oh god. No way, bro. I was so close to taming it. I needed to get away. Hey, you. Do I have enough tranks? It's gamble time. Something's getting tamed today. I don't care what it is. I didn't have a lot of trank arrows left, but I did have a high-quality crossbow. The effectiveness of my tranks was enhanced by my weapon, meaning knocking out the T-Rex was not actually completely out of question. I was fortunate enough to have it distracted by the wildlife surrounding it. Whilst I was munching on Phiomias and Iguanodons, I continued peppering it with any and all tranquilizers at my disposal, which I definitely did not appreciate. But eventually, it went down. That's pretty cool, right? I mean, I just knocked out my first T-Rex. But actually, there was something much more exciting right next to me. What is... That's an otter?! Oh my god, I was flabbergasted. Screw the T-Rex, this is what I actually wanted. Otters are not only absolutely adorable, but they can also be carried as shoulder pets, granting you additional insulation from the elements, and they are the only creature in the game that can carry multiple artifacts in its inventory. Taming an otter is not as simple as knocking it out and stuffing food into its mouth. It is what is called a passive tame. Usually you can get your hands on passive tames by putting their preferred food on the last slot of your hotbar and hitting interact, like I did with the moss chops on our previous episode. But otters are a little special in that they want you to carry an entire fish to them, so I had to find, eliminate, and drag a fish all the way over to it for it to consider being my friend. But before starting that project, I took my now tamed Therizino out for a spin to kill some babies to get my hands on prime meat to feed the T-Rex. I ended up calling my Theri Smitty, my T-Rex Verben, and my Otter Jaeger. Now that I was done taming for the day, I wanted to do one last check to try and find my lost taming supplies, and that was a really bad idea. Oh, here it is. Oh, what? My taming stuff. Ow, what the? Wait, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Run away, please. Oh, God, no, not like this. Not like this. Bro, they're gonna eat my otter. And that they did. Who thought that taking just a few steps without my bodyguards would end up in such a catastrophe? Of course, I went back to not only reclaim my gear, but also avenge Jaeger, just that without him, the squad definitely did not feel complete. I decided to call it for tonight and bring my new tames back to New Man's Landing on Herbivore Island, where I would process this tragic loss. But that was not meant to be the only one. The next day, still looking for new tames, I was halted by an Alpha Raptor and a Spinosaurus. Under normal circumstances, Smitty would be able to keep the raptor at class length whilst delivering damage, but when I once again pissed off a family of Dimorphodons by accident, I had to decide who gets to live, and yeah, I chose myself. I also lost my Ascendant crossbow when venturing too far inland at a place that was unrecoverable without a strong combat tame, which I didn't have because I needed to hit level 74 to be able to craft a T-Rex saddle to even be able to ride Verben. In short, I was straight up not having a good time. It was now day 10 and I basically had nothing to show for myself besides a T-Rex I could not ride, a couple of parasaurs, and a family of trikes. Oh yeah, I also tamed a Pegomax by accident, but don't get too attached because I'm pretty sure he starved at some point without me noticing. Point being, something needed to change. When the boys come back and they see that my greatest taming achievement was knocking out a couple of new beavers that didn't even fall for my trap, I will be ridiculed. So here's the idea. the taminator. Why should I carry my trap around in my inventory when my raft can be the trap? It uses all the same principles of my original 484 trap, just that it was, well, mobile. Once I caught something, I would be able to move it someplace safe and not have to worry about getting attacked by Troodons or Alpha Raptors. Sometimes my genius scares even myself. My mount of choice would be the humble Iguanodon, because they are super easy to knock out, breed up very quickly, and do not run out of stamina within quadrupedal mode. And with that, Endeavor and I headed out in search of a worthy combat tame. After testing the trap on a Titanoboa and confirming that it does in fact work, Endeavor and I immediately got stuck on a level 140 Sarco? I'm sorry, Endeavor, but you're gonna have to take one for the team. Now, my intention was to drag this crocodile all the way to my raft, but when it got stuck on a random piece of terrain, I definitely started to feel a bit silly about all the effort I put into creating the Taminator. And even sillier when another level 125 Sarco got stuck on a gosh dang snail. Listen, man, I spent the last in-game week suffering, so I'm not gonna complain about a couple of free Sarcos, as well as a very mediocre frog. It is kind of crazy how prone creatures are to just getting stuck on terrain out in the swamps. But at last, Brandon was not gonna be the only one having fun on a Sarco, because rivaling NASCAR was Prius. I could finally go about doing what I was trying to achieve from day 7. It's day 14 now, by the way. On the back of Prius, I could swiftly traverse the waters, take care of low-level dinos, fight most alpha creatures in my wake, and at last get my first high-level Therizino to spawn. This level 135 beauty might not have the best stats, in fact they're pretty bad, but at least I had a breeding pair to replace Smitty. Don't worry, we'll talk about breeding and mutations in detail on a future episode, but just know that this baby Therizino named Jinxed opened up a brand new chapter on our way to day 100. Alpha creatures. The bigger, badder, and more terrifying version of their non-alpha counterparts, these hunks of meat have become the bane of beach bobs all around the island. But what if I told you, dear survivors, that you can make these things your bid? You can farm them quite easily, actually. Why would you? Because not only do they give an absolute truckload of XP, they also have the potential to drop a bunch of high-rarity tools that will help you out a lot in the early game. And let's be honest, who doesn't hate having to abandon a tame just because an alpha T-Rex decide to stomp their way towards you? But no more. It is time to take back the beaches, and your creature of choice will be the humble Sarco. Because you see, there is a secret trick to this creature that will turn it from really strong to outright overpowered. But more about that later. We are on day 16 out of 100 on our journey to beat the island, and I was about to pick up the final member of our tribe, because a Sarco is more than just a killing machine. Mr. Flex, hello?
Is this a Sarco?
This is a Sarco, my friend. Say hi to Prius.
Okay, wait, let me join the clan.
Hell yeah. Welcome to Story Guy Incorporated.
Hopefully this place has good benefits.
You get free dental. Alright, hop on.
Okay, is there 2 saddles or oh no, it's
Nope. Just hold on tight. Since Echo joined us late, there was no better activity than hunting down some alpha creatures for that sweet XP so that he could catch up to the rest of us. Obviously, a few levels would be necessary before attempting to do that, so he picked up an explorer node to get a double XP buff before hopping onto my brand new Therizino Jinxed to go on a bit of a killing spree. Now obviously, Echo was going to need a Sarco as well, so as soon as he got a few levels in, we were planning to go to the eastern swamps to make that happen. However, he found something else that caught his attention.
Ooh, level 120!
Level 120 what?
Pterodon.
Why now?
Why is that bad?
Why now? When we can't tame it?
Why can't we tame it?
No flyers until we kill the first boss.
Oh yeah, you're right. Okay, then why don't we just keep it trapped somewhere?
That was an interesting idea. We might have agreed to a self-imposed challenge to not use any flyers until we defeated the first boss, but we never said we couldn't trap them. So Echo and I spent the better part of the night trying to Fortnite the hell out of this PT, which granted did take a few attempts, but eventually it was caged. Is that against the spirit of the challenge? I'll let you be the judge of that. What matters now is that we had to get ready to go and tame a Sarco in the early hours of day 17. Now those of you who have seen the last episode might remember that the Taminator was not exactly as useful as I wanted it to be. So today, I was determined to prove that my ludicrous idea of putting a 484 trap on a raft was in fact scientifically viable. Once we had swatted the bugs harassing us upon our arrival, we did find a low-level specimen to try and lure into our trap at risk of our own safety, and much to even my own surprise, it works! The Taminator! Echo, it works! I'm so happy! Oh my god. Anyway, let's kill it. And that, my friends, was the only success we get to celebrate, because as a lot of you probably know, the swamp doesn't take prisoners.
Why are these goddamn snakes in this goddamn swamp?
Dude, why is there so many snakes here?
Wait, this one's tanky.
High level?
What the hell? Or maybe we're just killing a bunch of them.
There's a lot of them. I have my freaking lunch stolen again. What is this stupid little thing?
Is there something? There's something coming!
There's something really big coming. There's a Sarco!
I'm knocked out. It's over, man.
No! way! Yo, there's a cap. There was a capra over here. I think it died. What was the whole 10? Oh, yo, it's still there. What the hell? Oh my god, I'm so dead.
You're fine, bro. Where are you?
Right next to you. Yeah, so needless to say that we were having a very rough time. Whilst we lost sight of a level 120 frog, in the commotion I made the decision to tranquilize a level 85 sarco rather than trying to kill it, because in my mind, knocking it out would probably be faster than trying to hunt it. And since Echo did not have a sarco of his own just yet, he decided to claim it as his own and called it Sylvia. Also, I did not get my lunch back from the Pegomax, but that's alright because we had plenty of food on the Taminator. Though the very obvious flaw of us not being able to consistently guide the creatures that we wanted to tame to our mobile trap became quite apparent. So instead of trying to keep dying in an attempt to do that, we decided to hop on Sylvie and explore the swamp whilst under her protection. And while making our way deeper inland, we learned why sarcos are truly overpowered. So because Sylvia was not a terribly high level tame, she ended up taking a bit of a beating on our excursion through the swamp. And for those of you unaware, you can actually heal your carnivorous tames by force feeding them raw meat. But since our surroundings did not give us a chance to catch our breath, I ended up doing that whilst Echo and Sylvie were still fending off attackers, making us stumble upon a secret technique.
Okay, wait. 3, 2, 1, go, 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 go. Wow. Whoa, whoa.
Oh, I'm knocked off. Did it work?
Yeah, it was working. It was working.
Hell yeah.
I think I know how we're gonna kill the boss.
So as it turns out, sarcos can have their attack animation cancelled by replacing it with the eating animation. You know what doesn't get cancelled? The damage they deal as a result of that. The one weakness a sarco has is that their attack speed on land is rather abysmal. But with this little trick, suddenly they could strike with a ferocious frequency of a furious frenzy. Now, fair disclaimer, I don't know how well known this, let's be real, bug actually is. Maybe everyone already knows about it, Wildcard knows about it, and nobody really cares. But there is a non-zero chance that this is something that might get patched in the future. Either way, bug or not, the sarco is still the best early game choice for dealing with alpha creatures, because in said early game, you'll be spending a lot of time around beaches and rivers. And what can you find around beaches and rivers? Water. As long as you can bait your prey into the water, you can get the benefit of an insanely fast attack even when you are solo. And with another Explorer Notes XP buff in tow, we were flying through these levels. Plus, we get to collect some pretty good tools. Emboldened by the bodies we left in our wake, Echo and I decided to take on the Alpha T-Rex that terrorized our tribe from day one. Just that said T-Rex didn't follow the script. It's not in the water anymore.
It's cheating. Okay, wait. I have an idea. Cliff, go!
Oh god. Oh my god, okay. Now that felt kind of game breaking.
Hey, if it was gonna cheat, then we're gonna cheat too.
Truly a beacon of righteousness. Now obviously XP is great, and getting our hands on more high quality tools than we knew what to do with was a nice bonus. But the main reason we wanted these alpha creatures gone is to promote new higher level creatures to spawn so we could tame them. We went on a whole side mission taming not just one but two high level Brontos because we thought we could cart them around the island, but when we found out that you can't actually put them on a raft, we decided to put that on the back burner. What a way to waste a day, I suppose. Echo had torn down the Taminator in an attempt to fit the Brontos until a Google search revealed that actually you can't do that. So we went back to Herbivore Island to build a new raft designed not to trap creatures but to transport them because we wanted to try and tame creatures further away from our base. And I mean, it wasn't pretty, but it was certainly gonna get the job done. We went all the way north to Carnivore Island where we decided to tussle with some alpha megalodons as well to see if their loot tables were meaningfully different from their land alpha brethren. Though more than anything, it felt like they just gave more XP. Killing a single level 60 alpha megalodon with an Explorer Note XP buff gave me 6 whole level on Prius, who up until that point was already quite leveled. Also, just a reminder, the sarcos we are using are straight up tames. No breeding, no mutating, no imprinting, just wild stats. So as long as you can find a decent level crocodile for yourself, you can absolutely go hunt alpha creatures the way we are. Of course, we were hoping to find some new high level dinos to add to our collection, but whilst we were still out of luck for any useful tames, we did get very lucky on our drops. Highlights include a bunch of metal structures, a bunk bed, and Ascended Sarco Saddle!
Oh, no, what? It's scripted.
They will say it's
People are
scripted.
gonna say
Haters
it's
will
scripted.
say it's not
People
real.
will say it's scripted.
And what better way to finish our Sarco-focused episode than by finding an Ascendant Sarco Saddle? Between NASCAR, Prius, and Sylvie, our tribe felt nigh on unstoppable. Of course, it takes more than a few crocs to defeat the island, and it was about time for us to venture to the frozen north. But that is a story for next time. This snow biome, a place so hostile that should the many inhabitants of the zone not eat you alive, the weather itself certainly will. Begging the question, why would anyone want to go there? The answer is simple: fat loot. Excellent.
He's going in the dodo farm.
Hell yeah, he is! The snow biome houses a lot of materials and creatures we are in dire need of to beat this map. But also, there's oil up there, and you know what that means, right? It's time to bring some freedom to these suckers! So join me as my friends and I venture far in search of great bounty. Welcome to the frozen north. Now, you would assume that with such a massive expedition on schedule, all of us would be busy preparing for it. And I mean, I did everything I could to stock up on basic supplies so that we wouldn't have to interrupt our expedition. Additionally, I also raised up a couple of trikes that would function as our proxy bodyguards. I would take Verben with us, but after losing Smitty and Jaeger, I just didn't want to risk it. And my Therizino was a lot stronger anyway. I was confident that Jinx would be able to keep us safe up there whilst we hunt for rare materials and new tames. Though it seemed as though one of us was not taking this preparation stage quite as seriously.
This is Kodo, and this is Photo, and this is Jodo, and Hodo, and this is Bodo, and Kodo. This is Kodo with a C, not a K.
Of course.
And then this one's Jeff.
Yeah, anyway, we had a long ways to go to meet up with Echo, who was already waiting at the outskirts of the snow biome. Before my departure, we agreed to meet up on Carno Island, and when Birdie and I finally arrived, we found Echo without his vessel. Apparently, he had gotten attacked by a whale, which destroyed his raft, but thankfully, all of our tames were safe. Our actual houseboat was armed with a ballista, and as such, I was not too afraid of this happening to us as well. But one thing our ballista could not help with was our boat getting stuck. Listen, I don't know what they did in ASA that rafts just keep getting stuck freaking everywhere, but this was getting extremely frustrating. We already had to tear down our boat twice in our first session because of this, but that was before we had placed much of anything on top of it, meaning our only hope was divine intervention.
God?
God?
God, take the wheel.
Yeah.
God, take the wheel, God.
Jesus, take the wheel.
Jesus, God, please take the wheel. Oh.
Yeah!
Let's go, God.
Go.
Hell yeah. Bro, shout out to God, you know what I'm saying?
Such a real one.
Listen, I don't like cheating as a matter of principle, which is why I myself don't have any admin rights on our server. But when dumb things like that happen, I find it appropriate to ask for a little bit of help from somebody who does. Rest assured that asking for divine intervention will not become a common occurrence, but in this particular instance, it kind of felt justified. Though of course, it doesn't come without a price tag.
By the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
With a sacrifice made, we figured we were good to go, heading out in the early morning of day 21 to finally make landfall in the frozen north. As per our plan, we decided to stick to the outskirts for now, hunting down pelty creatures to harvest them for said pelt. Jinx was absolutely making short work of anything that came our way, but the amount of pelt she harvested was rather unimpressive. So a lot more hunting had to take place before we could make even a rudimentary amount of frost-resistant armor. Though of course, pelt is not the only thing we came here for. This biome is absolutely brimming with resources, some of which even caught us off guard.
I don't think this...
There's oil, yeah.
Oh, it is oil.
Mods, get the oil, yeah. Wait. And these are silica pearls. Yo, there's silica pearls and oil here. Is that a penguin? Yo, there's a goddamn penguin here. It's a penguin. Excellent.
He's going in the dodo farm.
Hell yeah, he is! But unlike the dodos, these things are actually extremely useful for the mid-game. You see, oil and silica pearls are both important resources to craft advanced items, but another thing we need is polymer. Hard polymer is pretty expensive, requiring obsidian as well as cementing paste, but penguins can be harvested for organic polymer, which yes, decays over time, but can be bred in form of penguins. Since those are the first one we had seen, we made the decision to tame them rather than harvest them outright. But when further exploring the biome, we found not only more oil, but also more organic polymer on legs. I mean, trust me, we didn't feel good about obliterating the local ecosystem of adorable creatures, but sacrifices would have to be made in the name of progress.
Oh my god, Cliff. There's more. There's a couple level 80s over there.
Well, just means more polymer for us. I'm sure there's remorse hidden somewhere. Now, unfortunately, we could not sail all around the biome because there's a hidden wall that makes the passage too tight for our boat. It also threw a bunch of our tames overboard, so that was great. Speaking of tames, this was another reason why we came here. Stocking up on resources was important, yes, but we didn't want to go home without some new creatures. So we tamed a level 100 Deodon, which has an innate ability to convert its own food stat into area of effect healing. I think you can see why this thing is considered a must-have for boss boss fights. Keeping it fed is gonna be a challenge, but hey, that's a problem for future Cliff, because present Cliff currently had other problems to tackle. Yeah, let's grab this crystal and get moving, huh? Actually, wait. Can we find a way up here?
Up where?
From here up to the mainland.
Have you heard about this game called Fortnite?
Once again, Echo was full of good ideas. Seeing as how our boat could not get past the choke point, I spent the next morning building a bridge up to the mainland so we could continue exploring on foot. Thankfully, there was a sufficient amount of wood nearby for my building project, opening up a way forward, where we immediately found some high-level dire wolves. One thing we forgot in our preparation was bringing materials for a trap, so I scurried on over to the forest to harvest wood, thatch, and fiber for a wooden version of our regular 484 design. Wolves cannot damage wooden structures anyway, so this was not gonna be a problem. But not all of them fell for it on the first attempt, and let's not forget that they can damage us, and that was a problem. All of us were dying on repeat as we tried to finesse these damn dogs into the build. I'm not sure if they were too smart or too stupid to fall for it, but they were really giving us a run for our money. And unfortunately for us, things only get worse from there. Oh god!
There's a carno!
Oh god, run away, run away!
Oh,
It's over, man. It's
what happened?
There's a UT on us.
Oh no.
I got it, I got the UT, I got the UT. Where's the other wolf? Oh god. Oh no, 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 no. Is that the 120? That's the 125. Get into the trap.
Maybe I can aggro the wolf.
Okay, okay, okay. You cooking? Damn it, just a little off to the side.
Come on, puppy, come on.
Hey guys, what I missed?
Hey, welcome back, sir. We're still trying to get this final dire wolf in there.
What is that stupid thing, man? It just keeps jumping.
Dude, you're so close.
Look at me, I'm bigger meat.
You got it in! Echo, you! Oh my god, Echo got it in. With his dying breath, he got it in.
Ow, I'm gonna go get my stuff.
You know, for a creature you can tame simply by tossing a bola at it, we sure did struggle to make this happen. But at last, the dire wolves were trapped and we could proceed to knock them out. The one saving grace of the Carno attack was that its body would provide some prime meat we could use to tame the wolves. And even though I could hardly contain my excitement over getting a 120 plus 125 breeding pair, Birdie only had eyes for the sky. Birds, was yours fodder or frontliner?
Level 150 Argentavis.
Birdie, stop looking at it, Birdie.
So beautiful.
And max level.
I know.
He really couldn't wait for the day we defeated the first boss to finally unlock the ability to fly. I will admit though, imposing that stipulation to our 100 days challenge definitely made getting high level tame so much more difficult. Once the wolves had been secured, we had to go out on foot to try and find some other creatures we still needed. The dire wolves would become our go-to caving mounts, but in order to actually defeat the brute mother boss, we wanted to get our hands on some megatheriums. Their bug killer buff would make for a perfect match in that arena, though finding some that were high level enough to be tamed was a challenge. At one point, Birdie found a level 145 Carno who got stuck and decided to make taming that his mission, while Echo and I continued to actually do something useful. I mean, we did knock it out together, though how he was going to get this thing out of that mountain without a cryopod was anyone's guess. Obviously, we went and slaughtered anything in our path to make room for higher level creatures to spawn, and man, I know my Therizino is not like a crazy high level, but Jinx was making this process so much easier. And our persistence paid off because eventually we found a level 135 Megatherium. I hastily built up another 484 trap before luring my target into it, though something I had not thought about was that unlike the direwolves, Megatheriums absolutely could destroy wood. Yes, it's in! It's destroying the foundation. Echo! Echo!
Whoa.
Quick, it's doing a lot of damage to the foundation! Do not
What the hell is that reach? It just broke my armor! Just bait it to the other side. Bait it to the other side.
It's not interested in me, it's just interested in the foundation.
It will be. Hey, here, big guy.
Come on, buddy. Oh!
There you go.
Yo, good job, Echo, good job. He truly is a visionary ahead of his time. With our trap no longer in jeopardy, knocking out this Megatherium was no trouble at all. What was troublesome were all the creatures that started attacking us. Packs of wolves ran up like in a freaking tower defense game, only interrupted by the odd Argentavis trying to take a bite out of our tame. And in all of that commotion, a lot of our gear ended up breaking. A minor inconvenience elsewhere, losing our protective equipment could mean almost certain death up in the frozen north. Since it was getting late, things were only about to get even colder, so we had to make a tough decision. Echo decided to give me his last unbroken pieces of fur equipment before using the bed to teleport to our boat. This would leave his entire inventory on the floor, but also give him an opportunity to come back with a new set of gear. The Megatherium tamed up just as night was falling upon us, and dare I say, the stats were pretty okay. Listen, we don't need a crazy strong Megatherium army for the Broodmother, especially not on Gamma difficulty. Though I was wondering what the hell Birdie and Echo were up to whilst I was wrapping up that tame.
Hold on. Be very careful.
Why?
I got stuck down here. Oh. Well, there it is. Okay, don't follow me, please.
Did you just fall through the map?
Man, why can't we use flying tames?
I'm sure they're fine. Apparently, he had dropped himself as well as his 145 Carno into a ditch, and without a flyer or cryopod to retrieve it, it was pretty much dead. Not that this was of any concern to me, because at the same time, I found another level 125 Megatherium. I mean, granted, it was also male, but chances of it having a higher melee stat were higher than 0. So I put up another trap to try and get my hands on that guy as well, just that, once again, I found myself overwhelmed by the sheer stupidity of this pathing system. I mean, look at this dude, he's literally surfing on my goddamn trap. It was all fun and games until the fog rolled up and another Megatherium decided to pick a fight with me. Oh god, no. No, not like this. Jinxed! Jinx, please. Jinx, I need help. Jinx! Alright, let's see how tough you really are, hey? Once again, saved by my beloved Tame. Though it was unfortunate I had lost sight of the level 125 in the fog. I decided to cut my losses and secure what I had found so far. I managed to get everyone back to the boat in one piece, where Echo and Birdie delighted me with their tales of how Birdie lost all of his stuff. We had just spent 2 whole days in the snow biome and only just barely scratched the surface of what we needed to collect. But that wasn't even the worst of it. We spent literal days just killing dinos off spawn trying to get a new Megatherium, but every single time they were low level. The bigger problem now was that with a rapid respawning of creatures, we also had to face a lot more alpha dinos. And whilst my beloved Jinx had no problem taking them on one at a time, the extended breaks I had to take in between pulls to heal her back up definitely made this a very slow process. And again, we needed a solution. Back at No Man's Landing, we went on to prepare for our return to the snow biome, this time with a proper stone trap, with new supplies and also with new Therizzinos. When Brandon finally woke up to complete the squad, I decided to give out a Therizzino egg to each of them. Now obviously, breeding our creatures is kind of my job, so none of them really knew how to do that properly. I was fully expecting to have to nanny them a bit whilst their chickens were hatching, but I was not prepared for how much patience I needed to make this happen.
I have a problem. They're getting bigger and I can't get them out.
Why would you go to... Wait, why would you go through the single door when we have a double door? Use the double door. Birdie, what happened to yours?
He's stuck.
Like where? She wants basic kibble. Why aren't you feeding her?
Oh, where's the... she just did that. Where's the kibble?
Probably in the fridge, if I had to guess.
Sorry, bro. I'm a little tired today.
What the hell? Bro, are you coming or not?
Why can't I get over any of this shit?
Is this why they call them tickle chickens? Because when they harvest, they tickle that little.
Okay. Everybody, touch this box, get your XP buff, start killing everything on the island. No, on the dino, Birdie! On the...
What?
You're supposed to be on the dino when you touch it, you moron!
Nobody told me that!
I literally said it!
Oh, you want me to bring Cobra Chicken?
Of course!
How do I touch it?
You just walk over it. On the dino, Brandon! On the dino!
No, I accidentally jumped off.
Just go kill stuff. Try not to get your dinos killed. It's like herding chickens over here. Once the Therizzinos were sufficiently leveled up, we made use of our brand new industrial cooker to craft some dyes. With the amount of armor we had at this stage, color coding everyone's belongings was the easiest way to not get anything mixed up. This time, the only tames we were bringing were our combat mounts, a simple loadout for a simple goal. Take our Therizzinos, slaughter everything inside, tame up whatever we still needed for the boss fight, and then go home. But it was very apparent that one of us was a bit more on edge than the rest.
What was that?
You're so scared for everything. Chill, bro.
Seriously, it's just a smithy that went down. Chill.
Bro, I've got PTSD from the Red October, okay?
Listen, if the boat isn't shaking, we're fine.
It was kind of funny how Echo losing his ship had more of an impact on Birdie than it did on Echo. In the first place, the only reason Echo had his raft attacked was because he went too far out towards the ocean. As long as we stay near the coast, we should be absolutely fine. We had a long ways to travel in order to get back to the place where we had built the bridge, and to my pleasant surprise, our trikes were still alive. All 4 of us decided to kick off the expedition by splitting up and looking for some creatures to tame. But little did we know that we were not the ones that were on the hunt. A whale is attacking our ship! A whale is attacking our ship!
Red October! Red October!
Get on the ballista! Good. No!
Oh my god. And there's a million fish.
And it's an alpha.
Oh my god. We are stranded. Things were looking bleak for us. Not only did a houseboat provide shelter, but it also housed all of our most valuable pieces of loot. In one fell swoop, we had just lost everything. Miles away from our home base with nothing to our names besides the items in the inventories and the creatures we were riding. This had just turned from what was supposed to be a swift expedition to an outright survival emergency. Our #1 priority was setting up shelter. Once night fell upon us, our primitive grade fur gear was not going to be able to keep us alive. Echo made an attempt to try and find the bags from all the containers containers that used to be on our ship. But not only did we have no idea whether that stuff remained intact after getting attacked by a whale, there were also way too many sharks in the water for us to go look for them. Our only saving grace was that we were surrounded by a few beacons, providing us with necessary building pieces and materials to create a forward operating base. And that was just as well, because once it got dark, it was too cold outside for us to survive. There was really nothing we could do but wait out the night, but with only 70 days left to beat all the bosses, we really did not have the luxury of wasting time like that. So as soon as the sun came up and it got warm enough for us to not freeze to death, we had to make up for that. After asserting our dominance on the local wildlife, we found a level 125 mammoth that I decided to knock out. I know that this isn't a traditional boss creature, but it does have an ability that could help us out. Though before tackling that, I had to combat my tribe's dwindling morale.
Can we like really put into like perspective what we lost? Like, can we like?
No, we're not gonna put in perspective what we lost. We know what we lost, Echo. We're just gonna move forward. We're not gonna think about it because it's just gonna make us sad.
No.
Look at this. We got a mammoth. It's a 125. Echo, look at me. Echo, stop running around. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. We got a 125 mammoth. It's all gonna be okay.
Look, Cliff, a boulder.
You want to see me get behind this rock?
Yeah. Wait, what the?
You can do it again?
You want to see me do it again?
What is this rock? Oh my god.
Nice game.
Nice game, bro. Paid $40 for this, by the way. Who could have known that sometimes all it takes to cheer up the boys is a boulder? With our spirits thoroughly lifted, we could now focus on our task at hand, and I could finally bestow upon the tribe why I decided to tame a mammoth.
Ooh-wee.
Okay, gamers. Now here's why this is important. Check this out.
Oh, he's got a wardrobe.
If I do this right, then we're gonna get a buff where the UT cannot fear us. Which means the rest of us can set up a trap. Oh yeah, I don't think I've mentioned this before, but the Uranus has a few very special abilities. The reason it is considered a must-have for any boss army is because it has a courage roar that makes every single affected creature more powerful and more tanky. Conversely, it also has a fear shout, which makes it a pain in the ass to tame. Because if our tames get feared, we literally lose control of them, and let's just say that you don't want to attempt to tame this thing on foot. But to get one to spawn, we had to obliterate more creatures, and boy howdy were alpha Carno's not a problem anymore now that everyone got their own Therizino. Unfortunately, the only high-level Uranus that Birdie found had turned from a level 115 to just level 1, thanks to a bug. And we know it's a bug because on maximum difficulty 5, which is the difficulty we play on, every single creature is supposed to have levels in increments of 5 all the way up to 150. So our prime UT had just turned into trash for no apparent reason. Eventually, we decided to settle for a level 55 one because we lost hope of finding anything better, but even with our mammoth, this tame was not easy. Alright, you tank him, I'll try to box him in, okay?
I'm scared, I think.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
I thought you played the drums.
Yeah, I have no control over the mammoth right now.
What? How? I did not. What? Stand still, you stupid Uranus. You're not even that high level. You're not worth all this effort, man.
Did we just kill it?
No. I got this.
Wait.
Wait.
Pause camp.
What did we go through the effort to get this stupid mammoth if you can still get feared? That's so dumb. Look at us just absolutely taking L after L. We ended up securing 2 low-level UTs because we saw very few of them, and every time they were low level. And this was still better than not bringing any to the boss fight. But honestly, the next few days really weren't that much better. We still needed a high-level female Megatherium to pair up with the other one we found the other day, but every single one we saw was absolutely useless. It felt like a bit of a piss take when we began finding other high-level creatures we didn't need, like a max-level Deodon, a 145 Mammoth, and the 150 Argentavis that Brandon and I definitely killed, and I must ask all of you to pinky promise not to ever tell Birdie that this happened. Our crowning achievement was knocking out a level 145 Anki with really good stats, but that was not gonna defeat any boss anytime soon. And I mean, I could narrate over how the next day went, but honestly, I think sometimes showing is simply better than telling.
Long until it wakes up.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Run back. Wait, what level are these guys? 130! 130 female! Okay, I can bowl all that. Hold up, where you going, buddy?
I just took shit. I'm gonna catch this Megatherium, and Cliff is gonna be really proud of me.
No, do not hope or run.
Why are you running? And it's in the water.
Are you serious? What is this?
His friends?
What the hell? Who are you?
What level are you guys?
Come on, get in here. Oh my god, what am I doing wrong?
I think it's still running. It's right here.
Oh, there it is.
Owie.
That's a level 15. Who the hell are you? Are you the one?
I think that's it.
Find out. And yes, here we go.
This is fine.
bro, it got 277 melee. It's like all its points went to oxygen. I hate it here, bro. Goddamn. Yeah, even in success, it felt like we were failing. We spent the better part of our day just running up and down the beach to get new spawns. Obviously, we had no idea that Birdie had already found a megatherium and was trying to tame it. Emphasis on trying. So disappointed with our own haul, we decided to bring back our tames on the raft Echo had built prior to heading out. I have no idea what Brandon was doing at the time, and frankly, it didn't really matter because Birdie was about to bestow upon us the good news.
Hey guys, I found a level 120 female megatherium. Let's go.
Wait, did you say female megatherium?
Yes.
Let's go! Okay, alright!
Go now before it's gone.
Holy crap, let's get this.
This is the worst 4 days of my life.
This was it. We finally had a breeding pair, a Uranus, and a Deodon all ready to take on the first boss. We could finally leave this cursed land behind and return to New Man's Landing, where it was now my job to raise our army. But that is a story for next time. Today is the big day, my friends, for we are finally going to face the first boss of the island, the Broodmother. Weeks of preparation have led up to this moment, but don't be mistaken, this is but a stepping stone on our journey to Ascension. In fact, the Broodmother is the easiest of the 3 main bosses on the island, so if we end up struggling with that one, let's just say things are not looking good for the other ones. Oh yeah, did I mention it's day 57 on our 100 days to beat this map? We are in a bit of a hurry. Obviously, a lot has happened since the last episode, so let me catch you up on what the boys and I have been up to prior to taking on this challenge. Things like going to caves to retrieve artifacts.
Brandon, no!
Building breeding pens to raise an army. Why are they all so bad? And taming giant crocodiles that could eat you in one bite if they wanted to. Get damn it! You know, just your average Tuesday. So let's get some housekeeping out of the way before facing the giant spider, because in order to fight the boss, you are going to have to collect their respective artifacts from a variety of different caves. And for those caves, you might want some specialized creatures. Our direwolves will do just fine for the majority of them, but some others might benefit from something like a baryonyx. So being the swamp experts that we are, Echo and I decide to head out and catch a few of those. In fact, we are such experts that I came up with a brilliant idea. One of the most annoying things about the swamp is that there's so much foliage you can't see what's attacking you until it's too late. So bringing our Therizinos, Echo and I began flattening the forest to give us clear sightlines to everything around us. We could even see these annoying jumping crocodiles from a mile away, though that was not the only reptile that we would run into. It's like, oh my god, there's 2 of those? Echo!
Whoa, what happened?
These Dinosuchus are here. They're low level, but they're massive. This was our first run-in with the biggest crocodile in the game, the Dinosuchus. Our tribe was already a big fan of the sarco, so our curiosity was definitely captured. Now, taming one of these is not as simple as trapping it and knocking it out, which is what we did to a level 110 baryonyx. Yes, my friends, the giant Dinosuchus is a passive tame, but that doesn't mean its behavior would be passive as well.
How do we tame this thing?
I got the kibble in my inventory. I'm just waiting for it to do the mouth thing.
Oh, it's doing the mouth thing.
Oh, it's trying to hunt the Dimorphodon. Dang it.
Just walk towards it.
No, are you crazy? Are we cool? Are we alright?
Hey, buddy.
You look hungry. Get damn it! No!
Did the taming thing get any higher?
It did not work. It did not work. Run away. Oh, this is so scary. Turns out it wasn't so easy. In order to stealth, you need to crouch, but because I was in water just deep enough for me to not be able to do that, it aggroed onto me. As the person who spotted this high level, I was determined to see this through to the end, but being a fan of swimming tames, Echo was getting uneasy.
Just give me some of the kibble so we can just take turns.
Nah, bro, you gotta respect the dibs.
Let's play. We're gonna be playing.
You don't even have full ghillie. You're not gonna be hidden. Don't get too. You don't have full ghillie.
It won't see me, bro. Trust.
Bro, you need full ghillie to be invisible.
You and your science.
Despite his objections, I did not share my kibble with him until I had succeeded. Which, granted, did take a few attempts, but eventually, he was mine. Now, thankfully, we had enough resources on our boat to make a saddle for this beast, but until its first deployment, we had to tame a few more creatures. Echo managed to get knocked unconscious by a frog again, and I'm sure at least a few of you are wondering why we even bother going through the effort of getting another frog in the first place. Well, you see, these creatures are very good at farming a very specific resource from eating bugs, of which you can find a lot in the swamp, so we took Buford to do exactly that, and I mean... So that was like, what, 4 or 5 Meganura?
Yeah.
You got another 64. We got 100.
What?
Off of a handful of them. Yo.
Bro, take him to that one cave with the ants.
We'll be rich.
Oh my god.
Hello there.
Oh, there's another frog right here. What level is it? Oh, looks so cool. 140.
140. Okay, game box told me. Now you might be wondering why we are losing our collective shit over something called cementing paste, but you see, cementing paste is one of the components you need to craft hard polymer. And you know what you can make with hard polymer? Shotguns. Honestly, it's a pretty important resource for the mid and late game, and let's be real, our penguin farm was not going to produce enough organic polymer to meet all of our needs. We now got everything we needed from the swamp, so we decided to head back to New Man's Landing, but obviously, Echo still had a chip on his shoulder about not having a Deinosuchus of his own. And one thing you have to know about this man is that he is incredibly lucky. I spent 20 days looking for high-level dinos to no avail, but the 1 week he's with me, level 140 Frog, 140 Therizino, another 115 Baryonyx, and a 145 Rex basically right in front of our doorstep. And as if that was not lucky enough, he also found something very high level, which he didn't want me to know about.
Where's the other berry?
I don't know, it's yours.
You're the one who... Where'd you put him?
Well, I didn't put him anywhere, you just left him.
I thought you were making it follow you.
Why would you think that? I'm literally looking at it, bro. It's exactly where you left it.
Where?
You are such a bad dad, bro.
You're the one who took it. You're the one who was making it follow you.
I brought it to you, their dad.
I'm gonna give you a ghillie suit.
At that point, I definitely kind of felt bad for him. He just died in the swamp, and presumably all of his gear had broken. I figured he just needed to get back his stuff, but in actuality, he found a max-level Deinosuchus. Whilst he went back to the swamp, I decided to stay with my knocked-out T-Rex to protect it, but at some point, I noticed a little pop-up. So I decided to investigate. Echo, you good?
Yeah, for the most part. Where are you?
I'm right behind this rock. I don't want to get too close because I don't have ghillie.
I'm gonna be real, bro. I was trying to like get up close to him and feed him one of the kibbles. I ate one of them.
My final kibble in the inventory.
My final kibble, Jojo.
Please don't eat this by accident.
Yes!
Let's go! Perfect tame!
Oh my god. Deinosuchus, he's level 150. He's a big boy. I'm naming this guy King K. Rool.
12,400 HP. Bro, you got a tank, bro. Now that we each got a Deinosuchus for ourselves, obviously we had to take them out for a test drive. Naturally, we tried to see if we could replicate the same animation cancel we did on the Sarco, but to no avail. But that does mean these things weren't stronger than a Sarco, and in order to prove that, we decided to spare some alpha creatures a bit of a visit.
Giga
Gigabyting. 3, 2, 1, go.
Whoa!
3,000? Bruh. That's insane. I love this creature.
Bro, the bleed damage is insane.
Nearly 3,000 right there.
Let's go!
And it's gone. It's already gone.
That was a level 60. That thing terrorized me, Echo. Holy crap. At that stage, Echo had already made the decision to bring King K to the boss fight as his combat mount. Speaking of which, our little side quest got done just in time before the rest of our tribe woke up, so we can grab the artifacts to actually do said boss fight. Now, obviously, I didn't just spend 20 days building and breeding an army. I also farmed a lot of resources in order to equip my boys. Since we have never beaten the island before, my natural instinct was to bring all of our best gear to be able to tackle the caves, one of which just so happened to be very close to our home base. Armed with the best weapons we had access to, as well as a pack of wolves to keep us safe, we made way to take on the lava cave. But little did I know how much of a challenge this really was, because the bickering immediately started when I was giving out the rations.
I really want to shoot you right now.
Oh, you can just pick it up, you idiot.
There's so many better ways to do this. Like,
Y'all are just complaining Andes, Jesus Christ. I'm out here giving you guys everything you need to survive.
What's the
You're supposed to pick them up as I throw them. That's what the whole point was.
okay.
I tossed the stack
You didn't say
for you to pick up the whole stack, and then the next person gets the next stack.
Just one bug repellent?
Yes, one bug repellent. That's what I get for trying to be a good tribe leader. It's not my fault they didn't know there's a button to pick up everything off the ground at once. Either way, our teamwork was bound to be tested because as we ventured deeper into the cave, we were bound to come across danger. Lots of danger. And let's just say that no matter how prepared I thought we were, it was definitely not enough. Throw them.
I just threw it.
Toss them.
These things don't do
How
damage.
do they deal no damage? Okay. Plan B, get on the wolves, get on the wolves.
Jonathan,
Attack them! Attack!
Come here. Jonathan!
These grenades are useless. That's such a waste of resources.
One of them blew up on us.
Oh my god. They did more damage to us than the freaking bats.
Fucking Kraken, Mega Rabies?
Wait, who got Mega Rabies? Who got Mega Rabies?
Whoa, what is Mega
I
Rabies?
have Mega Rabies.
Echo, get away. Get away. Get away. Get away. Get away. Get away. Get
I
away.
have Mega Rabies too.
Okay, my Mega Rabies is gone. Is everyone else Mega Rabies free?
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
Mega Rabies free.
Alright, let's continue.
But it's gonna be asymptomatic. Dude. You can't be walking into each other when we're doing these things.
Oh,
I see the artifact. Okay, I'm gonna go grab the artifact.
Getting rid of my Mega
you
Rabies.
have Mega Rabies, Brandon.
Joy.
Alright. Got the artifact. I'm gonna go get the loot drop as well.
Brandon, no!
Oh no. Oh, go, no, go, oh no! No, 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 no!
We had an otter.
Yeah, so things were not exactly going according to plan. I mean, hell, I didn't even get to name my otter before I lost it. But more importantly than that, Brandon, I, and eventually Birdie all lost all of our best gear to the lava skill check, as well as my mutated direwolf Sapphire. Echo, being the pro gamer that he is, was the only survivor, so he ended up arming Brandon as well as me so we could get back to the artifact. Thankfully, that thing respawns reasonably quickly so I could get my hands on it before most of the creatures respawned. Unfortunately, the excessive heat in this cave got me dehydrated to mortal degrees, and as such, I was in a bit of a hurry.
So this is the jump that's kind of annoying to do.
Yeah, can you give me a grapple?
No, you can do it.
Listen, can you just give me a grapple?
No, listen, you don't get it.
Okay, just give me a grapple, damn it!
I do that. It's
I don't want to argue with you while I'm dehydrated, I'm dying!
waste of a grapple, bro.
Bro, just give me I made the grapple! Needless to say that this was not a great time for arguments. Thankfully, Echo came around eventually and realized what kind of predicament I was in. Out of stamina.
You're gonna make it. Come on. You're gonna make it. You're gonna make it.
Bro, my torpor's going up. I'm not getting stamina back.
Okay, take the berry. Take the berry. Go.
Oh god.
Go.
I will never forget you, Echo!
Literally right behind you.
Oh. Well, I'm glad his team spirit came through eventually. As for our team performance, pretty shoddy. It definitely never feels good to come back from an adventure with less things on you than you started. I mean, we got the artifact, but the price we had to pay to get it was pretty steep. Okay, so that didn't go according to plan.
Did we get the artifact?
I mean, we did get the artifact, however...
Okay, then I say that was a mission success.
I would just... okay, listen, there's like... grades of success, and losing 3 people worth of gear for 1 artifact is not necessarily what I would call successful.
No, I'd say we did it good. We did good.
2 sides to every story, I suppose. Now, because I didn't want to keep throwing good things after bad, we decided to go into the next cave with minimal preparation. Actual bare necessities to survive, so that if we die again, losing our stuff was not gonna hurt as much. But because we lost most of our caving mounts, we kind of had to improvise. Incidentally, there was another cave not too far away from us, so it wasn't too much of a track to get there. But once inside, we found ourselves very lonely. For some reason, there were absolutely no creatures anywhere in this cave, shy of a couple spiders that we swiftly dealt with, but nothing close to the onslaught we had to deal with in the lava cave. So when we finally found some creatures, I decided to find out if my frog dealt increased damage to every kind of insect.
Okay, I'm pretty 99% sure hitting it with the headshot. Like, doesn't.
Okay, wait, no, let me get this. I got this. I was born for this.
Why?
Oh god, I was not born for this. I was not born for this. Ooh, oh my lord. So that's where all the mobs are, huh? Definitely not the best decision I ever made, but besides that little jump scare, this cave was incredibly easy. We got our hands on the artifact with very little resistance and no losses to our name. As for the next cave, I have to admit that getting there was more challenging than getting the artifact. Traveling halfway across the map without a flyer was a royal pain in the ass, but thankfully we could soon break that curse. Because the last cave also went without trouble and only, minor casualties. Everyone was getting ready for the final battle. I ended up naming every Megatherium in our army after one of my YouTube members. Thanks for the financial support, guys. Let's hope you survive the fight. And spent my preparation time trying to get all of them onto the transport raft. Unfortunately, an unlucky press of the J button unended all of my work in one fell swoop. But that ended up being a blessing in disguise.
Ooh, a yellow drop.
Wait, on our island? Oh, we can use that. Wait, we can use that. Okay, everybody, we need to get the Megatheriums over there. Quick.
What happened?
We got a loot drop. We can use a loot drop to teleport to the boss fight. That just saved us a lengthy journey. In case you didn't know, you don't actually have to go to any of the obelisks in order to trigger a boss fight. Literally any beacon will provide that function, so all we had to do now was get all of our dinos around it before it disappeared. I plopped the artifacts into its inventory, hit summon, and prayed to whatever deity would hear me that we would succeed. This 30-second countdown felt like an eternity. Everything we worked towards in the last 59 days would now be put to the test, because right now, it was do or die.
Don't move.
Don't move.
Not moving.
Okay, move now. Get on your tames. Everybody get on your tames. The brood mother's behind us.
How do I,
She's coming.
She's coming. Attack.
whistle aggressive?
I got this. I got this. I got the army. Don't worry about it.
Oh, the
How do I
giant
heal? There we go, I figured it out.
Get them, boys. They're not properly attacking her. They're all just on one side. Okay, boys, surround her. Come on.
I'm getting stuck. I'm stuck on all of them.
Yeah, your croc is really in the way
I'm
right
trying
now.
to get out. The way.
Okay, I need to surround her. Now they're buffed up. Now they're shredding. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Surround her, fellas.
Gigabyte. Let's see how much damage this does.
2,000. Hell yeah. Birdie, hit right click. Hit right click, Birdie. If you hit it once, it's gonna continuously heal. You're not doing it right now. There's no John.
I don't have any berries!
You don't need berries.
He doesn't eat me. What?
Just hit right click once. Oh, they're not all getting hits in right now. That sucks.
One of the Megatheriums is getting low.
Alright, we got this, Cliff. It's almost there.
Look at that damage. Almost 1,000 to hit.
Gigabyte.
2,200. Let's go, Echo. Okay, we lost one. 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Yeah!
First boss dead. We only lost one Megatherium? That's
To
crazy.
be honest, we could have had them all if we knew how to heal.
We did it. Sorry, Sammy. And you know what that means, right? We could finally get our hands on some flyers. And as you can probably guess, one of us was particularly excited about our victory.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, baby, yeah!
With the first boss defeated, it was time for us to move on to the second one, the Megapithecus. This giant monkey was but another obstacle on our way to beat this map, and as such, it was most definitely on our list. And honestly, I could hype up this boss fight to be really difficult, but I'm actually not worried about it at all. Our T-Rexes are pretty good, and the one thing more dangerous than this boss is the arena he spawns in. Environmental threats as well as dangerously low temperatures could be your undoing before the boss itself even scratches your HP. But there is a little problem. Our army needed saddles. And since we also lost most of our best gear in the last couple of episodes, both to ice as well as to fire, there was no better time than now to go loot hunting. We needed armor, we needed resources, and we needed it fast. The good news is that we had to wait a few days to get enough Rex eggs to raise into an army in the first place, so we decided to spend that time testing out a variety of different loot farming methods to see which one is the best. It's day 62, by the way. From the obvious land beacons to ocean crates all the way to treasure maps and fishing, which is actually the best way to gear up in the mid-game. Well, there's only one way to find out. Obviously, with us finally having access to flying tames, farming loot crates would be a lot easier. So whilst most of us were preparing for the day ahead, Birdie decided to take his newly tamed Argentavis change to get ahead of the game.
Okay, so this was garbage. This is garbage. This is garbage. Enduros, not that bad. 77 rare flowers, but here's the good bit. Ready for this? Ready for it?
Okay, yeah.
Well, I'm carrying, let me get rid of these major berries and artifact pedestals. Alright, you ready for this? You ready?
Yeah, sure, I have been. You're throwing a party for 92 cementing paste.
Yeah.
He's so proud of that.
Good job, Birdie. Needless to say that we needed more than that to fill up the armory, though naturally, not everything we'd find would be all that useful to us, which is why I wanted to craft an industrial grinder. This baby allows you to turn unwanted items into plain resources, and since we were about to go on a huge loot drop farm, having this will be an equally huge benefit. I mean, don't get me wrong, finally being able to farm metal nodes efficiently thanks to our Argentavis plus Anki combo was great, but in an ideal world, I'd much rather that all of our metal only comes from dismantling items we didn't need. And for that to become a reality, we needed to find out which method of loot farming is the best one, a task that, frankly, everyone was very excited about.
The Jurassic Park theme is playing. Say it really badly so we don't get copyrighted.
This is the kind of energy that we needed. For this expedition, we actually had more than one goal. We had taken every single treasure map that we collected since starting our 100 days with the intent of digging every single one of them up. But since a lot of them would lead us in and around the Redwoods biome, we figured we could combine that with a little excursion to the swamp cave. We figured that with Buford on our squad, we could make short work of its inhabitants, get a ton of cementing paste, and find our way to some cave loot drops. What could possibly go wrong? But to even be able to enter this cave, we needed to bring one of two things: a gas mask or a full set of scuba gear. Because without it, the toxic fumes would literally kill us in seconds. It's like a highly distilled YouTube comment section in there. Since we couldn't afford gas masks, we opted for the scuba gear, and well... Holy crap, I got 300 cementing paste off this!
Centipede.
Oh
Oh no! Oh no! Oh, we need to get out. We need to get out. Right now. I'm stuck. I'm stuck.
Run.
Back out, right now.
Wait. I'm trying to
Oh
get
god,
out.
oh god. Guys, oh shit.
What's happening to you?
Everyone get out right now.
Did your armor break?
Yes.
Bring a second set or no?
I sure did not, bud.
GR.
I only almost died, it's fine. As it turned out, a lot could go wrong. In fact, the bugs were not content with kicking our asses inside the cave. They even came out to finish the job. The only saving grace was that I ended up being the only person whose gear got rocked, meaning our plan was not entirely in shambles. Brandon volunteered to stay outside and gave me his scuba gear so that Echo and I, being the most experienced ARK players in the tribe, could go back in to see if we could fight our way to a cave drop after all. And whilst we made decent progress, his direwolf definitely was not as useful anymore without the pack boost, and since Buford was a straight up tame without imprints, he wasn't very strong either. Before anything disastrous happened, we decided to back out with our cementing pace, where Birdie was ready to block the entrance to make sure we suffocate. I swear he chose the worst possible time to go AFK. Okay, so cave drops were a bust, but hey, at least we still had our treasure maps, right? I mean, they are incredibly pay to win because you can't actually make a shovel to dig them up unless you own the Bob's Tall Tales DLC, but we were not prepared for how pay to win it really was. No shot!
Hey, wait. I gotta see this. Did you break it already?
I'm here.
Oh, there was nothing good in there. There was nothing good in there. Let's go to the next one.
Yeah, I don't believe you.
Do I have to show it?
Yes.
I want to see, bro.
Oh, fine. Okay. It's in the image.
Oh my god. The hell?
This doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah, safe to say the DLC is coming in clutch here, and just in case you're like Brandon, aka new to the game, Ascended light blue items are the highest quality of items you can find, but even amongst Ascended chest pieces, having one that grants over 1,000 armor is absolutely insane. By the way, if you are new to the channel and have not heard of us prior to the ARK series, do leave a comment down below on how you found us. I'm always super curious about that. Either way, obviously not every dig was a winner. Since the maps themselves came in a variety of different rarities, our level of excitement for what came as a result of them varied greatly. Our second Ascended map gave us a blueprint for a rifle that we would never be able to afford, so even though it was high rarity, it wasn't exactly desirable. In the first place, there was no way to reliably farm these maps, so we needed a method that was a bit more replicable. According to the internet, fishing is absolutely OP when it comes to farming blueprints, but it came with a bit of a catch. We needed bait, and no, I don't mean clickbait. Apparently, the best thing to put on a fishing rod is honey, so the boys and I decided to tame a bear in order to harvest it safely.
Oh, there's a thing trying to attack Brandon.
What the hell is flying in circles?
Oh my god.
like that?
Oh my god, yeah, you're right. And then you
And
get
it
stunned
stunned me.
for it.
It stuns me.
Granted, that part did not really add merit to the story, I just thought it was really funny. Anyway, once the bear was tamed, we had to find ourselves some beehive. You can typically find those around the redwoods, so we decided to split up in search of them. Brandon was the first one to spot a hive, but it was a little too high for Echo and Mama Bear to reach it, so we had to help them out a bit, or at least so I thought. Alright, I get wood, somebody get thatch.
Hey, Delphi, I didn't bring any harvesting tools.
Me neither.
What do you guys mean then bring harvesting tools?
You guys are just bums, bro.
God, you're
You guys
useless.
just watch, sitting pretty, bro. Passenger princesses.
Real. Wait, hit right click on it, now that you're that close. Oh, the bees! The bees! Run away, quick!
Yeah, I don't know why you guys are flying around.
Oh my god!
I think it's a Zer. Zer is following Stark, but...
Oh god, it's unmounting me! What is happening? I can't run! I'm bee stung! Don't you love getting punished for somebody else's mistake? Guess that is karma for me laughing about the Microraptor thing. Turned out that getting honey was a lot more dangerous than anticipated. Not only because the bees were not fans of us taking it, but also because the redwoods are inherently quite dangerous, which Brandon experienced firsthand. Now, we were going to try and help him, however... Oh, there's 2 beehives! 3 beehives on this thing!
Whoa.
What the hell? Yeah, screw
Screw his
Brandon.
dead body.
Yeah, screw Brandon. Let's get this honey. That might sound a little cruel, but come on, getting 3 beehives on a single tree is like hitting the jackpot. And I mean, he was with Birdie, right? Surely he can manage to just put down a bed for his teammate. Best case scenario, he revives Brandon and they go on to tame that level 115 Thyla that assassinated him in the first place whilst we were getting this honey. Worst case scenario, they're just gonna sit on their hands and say, oh, we were waiting for you once we catch back up. But the reality was so much worse. Yo, what's going on over here?
Looking for Brandon.
You not find him yet?
Nope. I killed the thing that killed him.
What?
I mean, looking for Brandon. What does that mean?
What do you mean you killed it?
Yeah.
You killed a 115 Thyla?
Yep, it was in the way.
Oh my
We were
god.
saying they did nothing of value, but this is like negative value.
It's a literally negative value.
Why are you picking me up?
Brody, for your transgressions, you must pay.
No. Wait.
Birdie. You must pay.
I'm sorry, Brody.
Birdie.
We will do the thing that you failed to do in the last 15 minutes, which is build a bed.
If you don't have to do this, Cliff.
You killed a 115 Thyla.
Cliff, please.
You're never gonna learn if I don't teach you.
Cliff, no.
Goodbye.
Don't do this. No.
Now, some of you might find this to be a disproportionate punishment, but we are on day 65 and our best caving mounts are still dire wolves. The caves get progressively more difficult, scaling with the difficulty of the bosses whose artifacts they protect. Missing out on that creature basically begging to be tamed was a huge blow to our progress, but obviously we didn't have time to look for more, because there was one thing and one thing only that we currently had our minds on.
Oh, purple drop.
Mine.
We were in the loot hunting spirit. Though on the note of creatures that were begging to be tamed, we just randomly found a max level baryonyx. I know I just said we didn't have time to look for new tames, but if they just cross our path like that, how could I say no? Though let's be real, it's not like saying no would be entirely out of character for me. What are you shooting?
Bio me.
Are you wasting ammo? You have a bird!
I have a lot of ammo.
Bro, we need the ammo for the caves, you idiot!
No, this is fun.
I don't care that it's fun, it's expensive. Listen, somebody has to be the voice of reason, and nobody said that spending 100 days on the island was supposed to be fun. Speaking of things that are not fun, once we arrived at New Man's Landing, I began the preparation in order to build the industrial grinder, whilst Brandon went out to get crystal and Birdie began fishing with the honey we acquired. Pro tip, by the way, primitive fishing rods are super cheap to make, and if you put your honey into its inventory slot, it's not going to spoil on you. Naturally, I too gave the whole fishing thing a shot, but in like 5 minutes of sitting around, I didn't get a single fish. So we're gonna have to come back to that one later, because now, my friends, it was time for progress. It's time for the grinder.
He can make the grind.
Yes, everyone get over here. It's time for a momentous occasion.
But I'm fishing.
Is it more momentous than fishing?
Yes.
Brandon, did you make a spyglass?
No.
Can you guys just get over here,
Why are
please?
you guys just like ruining the moment?
Yeah, why are you ruining the
I'm
moment?
literally here.
I'm
What
not
do you
the
mean?
one with the baryonyx inside of our stupid thing.
Bro, it's day 65 and we're finally gonna get the most broken item in this game.
It's day 65?
It's day 65.
Oh.
What does it do?
You're about to find out. You may ah and ooh right now.
I don't know what it's.
Ooh.
Okay.
Am I gonna get paid later?
So you see this gear piece, 1200 armor ascended chest piece?
Yeah, let's see what it turns into.
What?
Yo, that was kind of ass.
Are you serious? This should have been thousands!
There has to be glitch. Has to be glitch.
That has to be glitched. There's no way. Okay, I'm gonna need to add some context to this. Back in Survival Evolved, there was a popular mod called Structures Plus. It did a lot of things that we take for granted today, like being able to pick up structures after placing them, but one thing it did that I kind of forgot about was changing how the grinder works. Because you see, you can grind up almost any item for 25% of the materials that would have been used to craft it, up to a maximum of 150 units per resource. That restriction, yeah, it didn't exist with the S Plus grinder back in ASE, which means I just spent days of my life grinding out resources for an item that is nowhere near as broken as I thought it was. Yippee. Now that doesn't mean that it's useless, because at the end of the day, if we have items that we were not going to use anyway, it's still a net plus in resources for us. It just means that we're still gonna have to grind out metal the old school way. And speaking of grind, as soon as the sun was up, the tribe decided to split into two groups. Brandon and Echo, who were going to find deep sea crates, and Birdie and I, who were going to Carno Island in order to try to farm those treasure maps whilst picking up loot drops.
So my mom has these two Labradors, right?
Right, okay. Yeah, this was gonna be a long journey. Accompanying the two of us were my T-Rexes Rita and Mobile. As you have probably already seen, Birdie claimed the color pink for his fit, and when he saw that I had a mutated pink Rex just sitting in my breeding pen, he kind of decided that it was now his tame. One thing we kind of underestimated though was that creatures were not respawning as quickly as we wanted them to. But because every minute counts, we decided to try and give fishing another shot right here. This is the life, huh?
Purr. I'm getting paid right now, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah, this is the life.
Nothing quite like turning your suffering into content. Whilst we did get some fish here, the drops we got as a result were pretty bad. And because we also didn't get any treasure maps from several respawns worth of dino genocide, Birdie and I decided that a better use of our time was to just fly around and collect more land beacons. I really hope Echo and Brandon were more productive than us.
I want something to blast. I hear a dodo. Come here.
You're liking that gun.
Heck yeah.
Thankfully, pivoting immediately paid off when a blue drop with a ring awarded us an ascended piece of fur leggings. Just what we needed to survive the Megapithecus arena. But little did we know that we were not the only ones hunting beacons.
Yo, hey boys.
What are you guys doing on my drop?
This is
My
our
drop.
Excuse me?
We got you
My
first.
drop.
Bro,
I
this is
saw
my
it first.
drop.
First, no, we saw first.
Wait, why are you guys here instead of in the ocean? What happened?
The ocean's ass.
Wait, what do you mean by that? Yeah, so as it turned out, even though there are like a dozen possible spawns for deep sea loot crates, only 2 of them are active at a time. So when they got done scouring half the map with nothing to their names, they too decided that they were better off just farming land beacons. It's funny how that went. No matter how exotic the method, the one thing we always came back to was just farming regular loot crates. And that was just as well. Their hole alone was worth almost 1,000 metal ingots along with other resources. But then I remembered that there was one thing we hoarded that could also be ground up. We have a whole bunch of spear bolts. Wondering how much metal we get for that.
Oh, that's true. Let's take a look. Doink. Holy.
Wait, that wasn't even all of them. Wait, hit it again.
450?
Keep hitting it.
Oh.
Spam it. Spam it, Brandon. Yo, what the hell? This is insane! Dare I say, the grinder had redeemed itself. We were officially back in business, and with all the resources in our vault, we had everything we needed to saddle up each and every one of our T-Rexes. Meaning all we had to do now was to grab those artifacts. Now, only because we had the materials doesn't mean we had the gear. In order to survive the artifact case, we needed protection, so I decided to partake in the ancient ritual of downing a mind wipe potion, dumping all of my points into crafting skill, and grabbing our best blueprints to create higher value armor. That allowed me to take very inexpensive blueprints for cloth armor and turn them into something useful. Ascended cloth hat with 100 armor and truckloads of hyperthermic insulation, anyone? I went on an absolute crafting spree, making metal chest pieces, ascended pikes, and roided up crossbows for the whole tribe, and our T-Rex army was coming along nicely. It took until day 72 before everything was ready for our expedition, and within that time I came across this guy. I know I have a terrible track record of keeping otters alive, but this one kind of reminds me of my channel mascot Clyde, so I was even more invested in keeping him safe, even though Clyde is a ferret, but ferrets don't exist in this game, so an otter is gonna be as close as it gets. But enough preparation, the boys were awake and we were ready to go. As it turned out, there was an artifact cave on Carno Island this whole time, so grabbing our new pack of wolves, we made way to check it out. We felt fairly confident this time around because just roaming the island, we were absolutely shredding anything in our way. So we entered the cave with a spring in our step, mild anxiety over a brief underwater section, and an immediate crash back to reality.
Oh my god, look down.
Holy moly.
It's a lot of bats.
Yeah, there was absolutely no way in hell we'd be able to clear out this cave. But the good news is that we didn't have to, because we brought our secret weapon, bug spray. When consumed, this item makes you virtually invisible to most cave creatures, meaning one of us could go grapple down, retrieve the artifact, and then grapple back up. And considering our track record in the lava cave, there really was but one choice.
Oh Lord, have mercy.
Dude, he's doing it. I believe in him.
Echo, are you alive down there?
I'm alright.
You need to stop tempting fate. You have like all your best stuff on you right now, dude.
Bro, I have ADHD.
I really just want to press spacebar right now.
Please don't.
Oh,
Wait, I can see him. I can see him.
oh, Echo, he's
Oh
back.
my god! He's like a hero, like a superhero.
Alright. It's gonna be a little risky, but
Oh, I believe. Oh,
Look at him go.
oh, that looks so cool. You're literally an action star, bro.
Bro! Did you get the artifact?
what is this in my pocket?
I would have loved if you accidentally just threw it off the cliff.
Yeah, I almost did.
Oh, dude, you are literally a hero. Holy crap.
Give me, give me more parachutes. I can get another.
Okay. Here's all 4 of my parachutes. If anyone had earned the trust, it was most definitely Echo. Whenever it comes to any movement-based challenge, I know I can rely on him. I mean, hell, he was the back-to-back rank 1 worldwide support player on Lucio in Overwatch 1. You know, back when the game was still good. Cave 1 completed, 2 more to go. After depositing the artifact at Newman's Landing, Birdie, Brandon, and I decide to take our direwolves and transport them to the next cave. Echo, on the other hand, was not really vibing with the whole wolf pack idea, so he decided to bring his baryonyx instead. But because those cannot be carried by an Argentavis, he had to walk the bloody thing. And that gave the 3 of us a lot of time to make some mistakes. Oh, Autoflora. Get the wolves ready.
Who?
Oh, good shit, Brandon.
Got my Glock and a Rari.
Oh, get this one, Glock it. Good stuff. Always Glock the Autofloras, okay?
Oh, dung beetle.
Dung beetle got Engie.
You did not just glock
It
down.
was a
130 dung beetle. Oh, no.
You did not just glock down a dung beetle, bro.
It was attacking me first.
Just American things, I suppose. Exploring the cave was a slow process because we could hear creatures around pretty much every corner, and some spots required a certain amount of finesse to squeeze our direwolves past. But more than anything, it was an absolutely massive dungeon. We never knew if we were going the right direction just because of how many damn directions this place took us. After scouting what felt like the entire complex, the only place we didn't explore was an underwater section. And let's just say that wolves are not exactly aquatic tames. Echo must have done some research and knew that we would benefit from a baryonyx, so we decided to head back out in search of him. But the way we found him wasn't exactly ideal.
No.
I think Echo just got here. We gotta hurry up, The baryonyx is getting killed, it's not defending itself. God, how do we get out of here? It appeared as though Echo decided to enter the cave on his own, and all the creatures we had killed a while ago already respawned. We made haste to try and save the berry, but by the time we caught up to it, all that was left was a bag.
Help my brother out. Where's the flare?
Oh! Where did he come from?
This guy, dude. Not sure if he got jump scared by the Arthro or by Echo. I really wish that us losing a berry would be the worst that would happen in this cave run, but flying centipedes was not the only thing Echo brought along. He also got us some Lazarus chowder, which is a type of buff food that would allow us to stay underwater long enough, hopefully, to get past the underwater section. Or at least that was the plan, until he insisted on swimming alongside me without a tame, just to then proceed to stab me to death with a very pike that I crafted for him mere days ago. Which is a very roundabout way to get me to find out that actually he brought more than one baryonyx around, because at the cave entrance next to our beds I found another one. Also, I found a wild Brandon who apparently did not get the memo about consuming Lazarus chowder before going for a swim. Either way, I took the berry and Brandon and parkoured my way around the cave to eventually be met with my assassin. We have an imposter.
Really?
The guy who killed me?
Dude, you ran into my pike.
What do you mean I ran to your pike? You killed me!
I mean, honestly, it's better that we're bringing Hinata in anyway.
Don't try to spin my death by your hand into something good. To this day, I'm convinced he just didn't want to go back for the baryonyx and killed me on purpose. Bad news was that we had just consumed the only Lazarus chowder we had available, meaning running out of breath was a serious concern. And since we had only one amphibious tame with us, that also meant that only one of us could venture deeper into the cave. And honestly, I cannot understate how much my heart was racing when I was down there, looking for the right exit, running into mobs whilst on the verge of drowning. A true sense of relief washed over me when I finally arrived at the artifact, but following further down the path, I started to hear some familiar voices.
Yo, Birdie, Birdie.
Hey, what's up, Echo?
What's up, man?
Do you mind grabbing another one of these artifacts?
Yeah, that's what I was...
Yeah, so I really didn't need to go through all that stress in the first place, because as it turned out, this was yet another cave that could be trivialized by a grappling hook. Now, all we had to do was get out of this cave, get the final artifact, and beat up the monkey. But, remember that ribcage I used to parkour the berry into the cave in the first place? Turns out, getting it back out wasn't all that easy, and since Echo was not intent on losing another one of his beloved aquatic tames, he decided to try and parkour it back out. I was taking a lunch break while he attempted this, and I would like to take this opportunity to give you guys a window into the levels of brain rot that take place once the cameras are off.
No cap, I can do this.
On God?
Yeah,
Well, you're not doing it.
On the stack.
for real.
For real?
On Skibbity?
Bro, on Ohio, I can do this.
On Ohio, Riz? What
On
the?
Ohio, bro.
Let him try it. Let him embarrass himself.
I don't know. He put all of Ohio on this.
You would not think this is 4 adults producing a YouTube show. Anyway, the berry eventually made it out, and oh god, the last artifact is in an underwater cave. Mind you, the easy underwater cave. Me personally, I try to stay away from ocean content as long as possible. Echo was our guide on this expedition as our local ocean expert, and as much as I hate coming down here, the loot is incredible. But it does come at a cost, because everything that lives down here would try to stop us from achieving our goal, and with a whopping 3 dimensions to attack us, it became that much more annoying. Not to mention that a lot of these creatures are ridiculously high levels, some of them can stun you, and others only decide to come out of hiding in the exact nanosecond that you dismount your tame to try and grab a drop. If I sound salty, that's because I am. Because after respawning on our raft, I had to fly back to our base, get a new set of scuba gear, and then travel all the way back on Prius. I was gone for so long that the rest of my tribe literally didn't believe I would come back anymore. Hey, what's up, gamers?
Wait, no way you got down here. How do you get down here?
With the power of friendship and praise. Where are my medical brews?
I yoinked them.
Damn it, Echo.
I have energy brews on me.
Can I have my arrows back so I can, like, defend myself? Speaking of team spirit, words cannot describe how much it sucked having to clear this cave. Thankfully, King K and my own Deinosuchus Onyx were extremely helpful as tank DPS hybrids, and through their powers combined, we eventually got the artifact. Seriously, if the player base considers this to be the easy underwater cave, then I'm not looking forward to having to do the other one. But that's a problem for future me, because now that we had all the artifacts we needed, it was time for the boss fight. Once we were back at base, I decided to build a little platform around the location where our loot drops come down, just to mark the place where we should be gathering our army for the next 2 encounters. I also followed the tradition of naming our boss creatures after people who give me money, but because I kind of ran out of YouTube members, I went for Twitch subs instead. Listen, I might not be streaming a lot, but whoever's still subbed to my Twitch gets an absolute truckload of adorable Clyde emotes. But enough stalling, it is time to slurp down those fryer curries and get that boss kill. Okay.
I'm freezing.
Now, everybody, wait in this corner. I'm gonna grab the boss.
I'm getting pushed. I'm getting pushed by the guys.
Yeah, I can't move.
I do.
I need some as well. Please stop moving the dinosaurs.
Echo, come here.
I don't want to get to you either.
Wait, why is Mobile here? Why is Mobile standing here?
Mobile, come here.
Birdie, what the hell are you? You're just gonna run off the damn map! Oh my god.
Here, soup.
Holy crap. Right, gamers, this is what we work towards.
He's coming.
Big rock! Oh, that hit really hard.
Why are we fighting here? This is really
No,
bad.
this is exactly what we
move.
need. Everybody attack! Look at his HP melting, bro.
Oh my god, look, it just spawned on the Bigfoot.
Monkeys are dropping from the sky.
Am I getting good heals? You guys getting it?
Hell yeah.
Feel that. Heal him beat.
Drop the beat, bro. Drop
Drop the beat.
Monkey.
Monkey. Hey!
I got Winton.
We got it.
That was way easier.
That was so much easier than the Brute Mother.
Now what?
Now that we've killed the second boss, we can finally use Cryopods for crying out loud.
I don't know what that means, but bug.
Told you guys this was not gonna be difficult. Besides Birdie almost turbo-inting our best T-Rex into the nether and half the squad not having Fryer Curry in their inventories despite me telling them to get it multiple times. Ladies, gentlemen, and non-binary homies, we are 25 days and 1 boss fight away from facing the Overseer. But before we can even attempt that, we got a few more challenges to overcome. Challenges which will have to wait for next time. The ocean, a biome as dangerous as it is valuable, because whilst there are terrifying creatures waiting to eat your face off, you can also find wholly unique treasure. And no, I don't just mean the underwater artifacts. What if I told you that there's a creature in the ocean that, when tamed, improves your loot quality? A creature so elusive that if you don't tread carefully, will vanish in front of your very eyes. Because, my friends, it is real. But in order to get our hands on that creature, we are going to have to start our journey in the Redwoods. Yeah, that place again. Apparently, we needed honey in order to tame the loot-enhancing Leopleurodon, and I'm gonna be real, I was getting tired of coming back here every time we needed honey. So our goal was to tame a queen bee to have it on demand. And since we are going to the Redwoods anyway, we might as well get some cementing paste. Oh yeah, we gotta bring the toad.
You can Pokeball him.
Oh yeah, you're right! We do have that technology now. Second boss is that and all the rest of it. Yeah, I almost forgot that we defeated the Megapithecus on the last episode, which means 76 days into our challenge, we finally got to play the game without restrictions. But time was of the essence, so Echo and I put on our ghillie, hopped onto our PTs and made way towards the Redwoods. Mama Bear was still hanging out, which was great for us because it meant we didn't have to tame a new one, which doesn't mean that we didn't run into other bears. While searching for beehives, we kept getting attacked by everything around us, and since we didn't bring a decent level combat tame with us, all we could do was run away. That was until I remembered that I did bring a combat tame. What? No nearby cryo fridge ready! This was incredibly obnoxious. As part of the move from Survival Evolved to Survival Ascended, Wildcard decided to put some restrictions on how and when we can use cryopods. Which, honestly, I can see why they would do that for PvP balance sake, but like, we're playing on our own server. The only PvP we have to worry about is Echo stabbing us with a pike. Point being, this is a stupid setting and we're definitely gonna turn it off. But because that would require us to restart the server, we decided to ask for some divine intervention to bridge the gap. There you are, God. Please bestow upon us thy gracious cryo fridge. Thank you.
So what happened exactly?
The stupid setting is still on, that we need a cryo fridge to use the cryopods.
Finally seeing what your character looks like is kind of funny.
Don't tell Brendan about this.
He needs not know. Yeah, that's not what we expected God to look like. Either way, having the cryo fridge now meant that we didn't have to restart the server, which also comes with a certain amount of rollback. I don't want to bore you with the details, but we lose like 10 to 20 minutes on our timer every time we do it. And, it's day 76. Anyway, now that we could use cryopods, it was time to get back to the task at hand. Echo fortnighted his way up to a beehive in order to destroy it and set the queen bee free. Geared up with a full set of ghillie plus bug repellent, it was now my job to creep up and passive tame it, which didn't go according to plan. But hey, many more beehives in the forest, am I right? Since Echo as well as I were convinced that I must have done something wrong, he decided to give it a shot to about the same level of success. We even tried shooting it, thinking that maybe it was changed to a knockout tame in ASA. We were having so much trouble with this that we decided to look up some videos on how to tame queen bees, in which every single person was just nonchalantly walking up to the damn thing and tamed it with one feed.
Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't taking the exceptional kibble.
What does it say on the wiki?
Regular kibble or a rare flower.
Rare flower!
Simple kibble or a rare flower.
Well, if it takes simple kibble, it will take exceptional kibble. That's how the game works.
Yeah, it just wasn't though. I think it was just angry at us.
Rare flower usually makes things angry, so I'm really surprised that it wants to eat that. Something just wasn't right. No matter how fast or slowly we approached the queen bee, we never got the prompt to be able to feed it. And that across multiple bees. But because this mission was made even more difficult at night, the two of us decided to kill some time in the swamp cave to get Buford to farm some extra cementing paste for us. And honestly, that went surprisingly well. We even got far enough to collect one of the loot drops. But at this stage, we were ready to call it quits. The bees were not cooperating, our gear was broken, we still had to restart the server to turn off the stupid cryo setting, and we didn't even have any rare flowers on us. Rare flowers.
It's like gambling. Do you want to stay?
I mean, now that we have rare flowers, you know?
I mean, okay, wait, let me go pick up the generator.
There's a beehive right next to us as well. Fate had different plans, so whilst Echo scouted the redwoods for more beehives in case of more failure, I went back to the base to repair our ghillie. And guess what? Even with the rare flowers, it did not work. But we were not out of ideas just yet. One of the problems we had was having to track down the bees once the hive was broken, and it getting stuck in places we had trouble reaching. So what if we built a cage around the beehive before breaking it? Yeah, no, that still did not fix the issue. At that point, we were certain that something was fishy. A little Google search revealed that apparently taming queen bees has just been inconsistently broken since the release of ASA, and we just so happened to be unlucky enough to experience that bug on half a dozen queen bees in a row. After spending 2 whole days on this and only failing because the game was broken, we figured it was time to get God involved again.
It doesn't even spawn.
What?
He doesn't spawn?
Let me try again.
Even God himself could not summon a queen bee, so he did the only thing he could do and destroy the beehive to force tame a new bee for us. And I gotta say, there's something about seeing God with a shotgun. For which we had to pay, of course, because the worker bees arbitrarily decided to attack us instead of God, which led to me aggroing a pissed off Megatherium. I died, my PT died, Echo had to carry me back to the base on Argentavis, during which I had a random DC and died again. But at last we had honey, meaning we could now go out in search of the Leopleurodon. 60 Alpha Megalodon.
Light work, no reaction. Where are you, actually? Are you, like, ahead of me or like, deep?
I think I'm a little ahead of you, but I'm, like, deep in the ocean.
Well, I would watch out being that deep, by the way. That's where the Alpha 2 cell killed me.
I'm fine. I wasn't gonna kill me.
That's not actually
Oh my god!
Get him out!
I can't. It's already stunned me. Wait, it's stunned me. It's stunned me.
I'm coming.
Oh my god. Holy crap, what the hell?
It's gonna be a while before I get down there.
Is it over? Is it Jover? It's off. Alpha. I can't kill this.
Are you on your tame at least?
Yeah, I'm on my tame right now.
How much HP do you have?
6,000.
I'm coming down.
I can't even, like, reach it to bite it. I can't do anything about this.
I'm coming. How much HP do you have?
Okay, hey, let me go. I'm going up.
Run.
The hell? It was half my HP, bro. That was a terrifying encounter. A creature that smacks a Deinosuchus around like it's a dodo is not one to be taken lightly. It became extremely obvious that in order to survive the ocean, we needed something better than our amphibious tames. We needed creatures that called the ocean their home, creatures that could deal with the likes of a giant squid. And I mean, since we were gonna have to raise any form of ocean-dwelling army anyway to go to the Horde underwater cave, now was as good time as any to get that started. And according to Echo, one of the best sea monsters we could call our own would be a mosasaurus. It's fast, it's tanky, and most importantly, easy to knock out because it cannot go above a certain depth. This specimen might only be level 80, but considering that this was merely supposed to get us started, it would be good enough, assuming that we could actually tame it. I have bad news. I forgot the kibble.
Where? here?
At base. In my orgy.
Lift?
What's the second favorite food?
Oh my god, his torpedo's going down so fast.
Oh god, we might need to kibble. Yeah, this was as bad a time as any to be unprepared. Since Hinata was a lot faster than Onyx, Echo tried to rush back to our base before the Mosa woke up. I did try to use that time responsibly and get some loot drops on Carno Island, since this is where we located it anyway, but let's just say that there wasn't a lot I could do to keep the Mosa asleep. Echo arrived seconds before it woke up when we proceeded to stuff ungodly amounts of narcotics down its hatch, completing the tame, and his name is Percy. But now, a little demonstration for you guys on why Echo chose this to be our first ocean-dwelling tame. Because not only was it easy to knock out even at such a low level, it was incredibly tanky, and as we later found out, it was even faster in the water than a sarco, making it far and away our most useful tame to take to the ocean. We had a leader, time to get an army. Our creature of choice was the humble Megalodon, because they are pretty easy to knock out, benefit from the same pack bonus as direwolves, and their attacks cause a bleeding debuff on their prey. It was my job to breed, raise, and imprint our Megalodon army whilst Echo was out looking for a Leopleurodon, and gamers, juggling this plus working on the Therizino army made for a few incredibly stressful days. The only thing I had to look forward to was the upcoming organic polymer harvest. Anyway, since breeding was all I did, I also bred up a whole squad of brand new imprinted sarcos in case we needed some disposable mounts. By the morning of day 83, the Megalodons were ready and we could head out to hunt some game. And what better way to test the army than against an alpha mosasaur?
The bleed damage!
Where's this damage coming from?
Percentage bleed!
Wait, what? That was it?
Oh my god!
That was the sea giga and we just evaporated it?
Goodness gracious!
Bro, I think we're gonna be fine in the cave now.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Consider our confidence thoroughly lifted. Our Megalodon's bleed damage proved particularly useful against massive creatures that have large health pools, allowing us to get revenge on that Alpha Tuso and even get a journeyman fishing rod off of its body. At that point, we felt completely invincible, so much so that Echo and I decided to take a peek into the hard underwater cave without Birdie and Brandon. The only thing we were missing was a Basilosaurus. Listen, we were confident but not delusional. Percy being tanky was great, but what made Basilos special was that they were completely immune to the knockoff and stun effects of jellyfish, which is by far the biggest danger down in these caves. That and the incredibly high-level creatures ready to tear you to shreds, of course. Besides another Mosa that we knocked out, Echo was still in search of the legendary Leopleurodon after tasking me with getting my hands on the Basilo. These creatures are always surrounded by an entourage of mantas, which I had to take care of, but once I was done, it was smooth sailing. Or at least, so I thought. Speaking of passive tame, this Basilo was not fighting back.
It is a passive tame.
Oh, what? I've been shooting it, bro. How do you take it?
You just walk up to it with the food and you just give it to it. I knew I should have went.
It's kind of mad at me now. It's not like...
It's gonna, I mean, it can de-aggro and you can just tame it regardless.
Okay, yeah, I'll just... What am I saying? Well, look at me, just casually running into what Echo has been searching for days. After messing up the Basilo tame, Echo did not trust me anywhere near this thing, so he came over ASAP whilst I tried my hands at my previous failure. Obviously, being the ocean expert, he managed to get it tamed, and we now get to take advantage of the Leopleurodon's unique buff, Mystic Skin Oil. When riding this creature, you get this applied to you for a whopping 6 hours, and it is meant to improve the quality of loot from all sources. And it lasts so long because the tame itself doesn't. Yep, the Leopleurodon is a temporary tame, so you best not be dying with that because you're probably not gonna get it back for a while. Obviously, we had to do a little testing. We went back to the lava cave near Newman's Landing to discover that, you know what? The loot has gotten pretty good. Just like with any other form of loot hunting, obviously not every box was a winner, but it definitely felt like the quality was substantially improved. And obviously, the same applied to regular beacons, where once again, we were greeted by a lot more Ascendant loot. We also gave fishing another shot, and I mean, even with our new higher quality fishing rods and the Mystic Skin Oil, the loot did not seem worth the effort. But there was one place that we knew consistently gave us really good drops. The underwater cave. Since we had a Megalodon army at the ready and we only had 15 days left to defeat the dragon and overseer, we decided to go in the hard underwater cave without Birdie and Brandon. Honestly, we felt like bringing 2 beginners down there would just make it more chaotic, and we didn't really have the time to wait for them either. But let's just say that they called this the difficult water cave for a reason. I'm so incredibly on edge, you have no idea. Ooh, Alpha Meg.
Alpha Meg in the cave?
In the cave.
Okay, this thing's about to get dangerous. This is about to get dangerous. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Percy might die. I'm dying.
How is there that much damage going around? What is happening?
Oh, Percy just died by the megalodon.
There was not even Alpha, it was a regular one.
Alpha's still alive. It's level 250.
250 Alpha?
This cave was absolutely no joke. It was stuffed to the brim with creatures higher than the tameable max level, and well, our tanks were suffering from bleed damage as much as our prey was. But all of that was necessary for us to get that fat loot, even though we still had no idea what the artifact was because frankly speaking, this place was massive. It was crazy how Onyx, who is a high-level Deinosuchus, felt like a king on land, but down here, I was scared of even getting anywhere near these creatures. After a little while, there was only one place left we hadn't explored. A deep hole with a long corridor housing some kind of alpha creature. I'm saying some kind of because it was actually stuck in the wall, so whilst there was still alpha boosting creatures around it, this was our lucky day in that we didn't need to fight it. But after ferrying all of our megalodons into this corridor and slaughtering everything we could get our hands on,
That's the artifact! Oh my god, it wasn't the whole along, bro.
To do the honors.
I mean, you've done all the work, bro, you should do it.
Artifact of the cunning. Yeah, pretty cunning.
and this, my friends, is how we got the first of the 4 artifacts to fight the final Guardian. But this battle is going to have to wait till next time. You know how in a lot of JRPGs the final boss is not actually the strongest one? It's some obscure hidden bozo that you need to do hours of optional side quests for in order to even access. Well, Wildcard's version of that is the dragon, except it's very much not optional. Don't get me wrong, the Overseer is powerful, but not for the same reasons, because this boss is a straight up menace. Not only are the caves to get its artifacts the most deadly in the game, it also lives in an arena that boils you alive during the encounter, whilst featuring a damage over time fire breath that fries you and your creatures beyond well done solidly into congratulations territory. All that's to say, participating is a challenge, winning, yeah, that's masochism. To even be allowed a chance at this encounter, me and the boys needed to make something drastic happen. It's day 86 on our 100 days to beat this map, and we still needed to raise an army, farm a ton of resources, and get some blueprints for new equipment just to stand a chance. It's not looking good for us. But that's alright, because with our powers combined, we can make this happen. While I was taking care of breathing, imprinting, and leveling up our Therizino army, Echo went out to tame another Leopleurodon for its loot-enhancing buff. Birdie and Brandon, meanwhile, got the easiest job, simply fly to the mountains with our Anki in a cryopod to get some obsidian and metal. There was absolutely no way they could possibly mess that up.
Are you ready for this? Watch. I forgot how to use this. Hold on. God help, how do I use this again?
I think Cliff sent the wrong person for the job.
Nothing like struggling to use a cryopod. Brandon had no problem using the glorified Pokeball, so much so that he wanted to prove it by using it twice, giving our Anki cryosickness. What a hero. Also, as it turned out, Birdie had unbound his left click by accident because for some reason he's running Linux. Naturally, Echo had no trouble finding another Leopleurodon because A, he's extremely lucky, and B, they literally spawn the same location every time. As for me, yeah, I was stressing a lot about getting this army up and ready before we hit day 100. But that army wouldn't be useful if we never got the artifacts to start the fight. Using the Leopleurodon buff, we split up to get our hands on as many loot drops as possible, hoping for a Therizino saddle blueprint as well as some weapon and armor blueprints. Anyway, I don't mean to bore you with a montage of us opening loot drops on repeat, so let's fast forward a couple days to take a look at what we got.
Send an aloe saddle. Masscraft Ichi. 1,000 armor riot boots?
Yup.
Yoinky?
Look in the smithy, there's a few things. Oh, let me just check. Yeah, look in the smithy. There's a few blueprints in here.
400% Ascendant crossbow.
Yeah. Honestly, not that expensive either. We have that.
It's really affordable.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make 4 of these.
Yeah,
What the
yeah,
hell?
please, go for it. I didn't want to make one
Yeah.
just in case, but
Yeah, I'm gonna crafting stat dump, so
good haul, right?
That was insane. Good job, birds.
I can't believe the day came that I told Birdie he did a good job. Using our industrial grinder, I turned everything we didn't need into raw materials before using a mind wipe potion to put every single one of my skill points into crafting skill. And gamers, the gear that I produced with these blueprints was absolutely game-changing. We had boatloads of chitin just laying around from our brute mother boss fight, so I could make a ton of very good chitin armor for all of us. Not to mention these absolutely busted crossbows that barely cost anything to make despite being ascendant. Speaking of ascendant blueprints, we also had one for a primitive shotgun, which we universally agreed to create at the cost of the vast majority of our remaining resources. And it came out with over 500% damage. That sounds like a lot, right? Well, as it turned out, the crossbow was still better. Anyway, now that we had our equipment sorted out, we packed up a couple of our boss T-Rexes to begin our caving expedition. It's day 89 and the 4 of us have never been this locked and loaded before. God, we look like Power Rangers, don't we? Well, it was Mighty Morphin Fly-in time, because 2 of the 3 remaining caves we needed are in the snow biome. If you recall, Echo and I had already retrieved one of the artifacts from the hard underwater cave in the last episode. And just like the underwater caves, the snow caves are categorized as easy and hard respectively, meaning obviously we decided to go for the easy one first. The entrance was not very difficult to find, and just like its description would suggest, this did feel pretty easy considering that we didn't run into anything dangerous. But only because we didn't run into anything doesn't mean we wouldn't fall into it.
Oh no, I keep hearing stuff, but I don't see anything.
There's no...
Why did I just see your 500,000 damage?
There's no shot you just did that, Brandon. You see spikes down there and you jump down? You deserve to die!
Needless to say that I was pretty upset about him turbo-inting his entire kit 5 minutes into the first cave that we just spent days crafting. So obviously, we were desperate to get it back.
Okay, guys, try not to body block him.
Said it doesn't work.
Brandon, stop, Brandon, you have all of his shit on you.
Okay, if even Echo the movement god could not retrieve it, it was most definitely lost. The 3 of us continued making slow and steady progress deeper into the cave, taking out bits and bobs of creatures here and there, while Brandon continued to try and find a way to get his stuff back. This cave was definitely too small to bring pretty much any of our tames, but even without them, I was constantly afraid of accidentally shooting my teammates. Thankfully, we had the gear to survive these tribulations, or most of them, anyway.
Hey, can you jump in this water and see what happens? Alright, cool. Now we know.
I can't believe this kills you.
I guess there were benefits to one of us having nothing to lose, though all of us had everything to gain because eventually we found the artifact. It was down in a little cave area that you couldn't leave without a grapple, so Echo tossed me the artifact to bring it to safety. Now, we always like to have a spare artifact for decorational purposes, or in case we lose the boss fight and have to do it again. But because of the inherent danger of 500,000 damage, and this case innate ability to eat my RTX 4090 alive, Echo told Birdie and me to get out whilst he waited for it to respawn. At that point, I was ready to leave. We had everything we came here for after all, except that Brandon firmly disagreed.
Guys, I'm so close. I'm in this hole. I'm so close to the stuff.
So you're saying you could try to pick it up? Isn't there a way to go prone in this game?
How do you prone? Button.
X or Z. So X or Z, one of the two.
Oh.
Yeah, it's X.
Oh. Yeah. Go, dude.
No way, he got his stuff back.
No shot.
Credit where credit is due, he might have lost his gear like a pleb, but he got it back like a champion. The only problem? We just wasted a lot of time on what is considered to be the easy snow cave. Thankfully, the other one was right around the corner, but we could only hope that it didn't feature bottomless pits of doom, or very small puddles of water that deal 500,000 damage, I guess. What this cave definitely did have, however, were extremely high-level creatures. Just a few steps in, we were greeted by a direwolf that just so happened to be level 270. Reminder that the tameable max level of creatures on maximum difficulty is 150. Shooting our way through this cave was not gonna happen, which is why we brought out T-Rexes. Rita, Mobile, and 2 of our subscriber Rexes were locked and loaded, ready to tear these creatures to bits. Okay, I make it sound perfectly under control, but reality was that we often had to take breaks in order to force feed our creatures, because every time we fought anything, they took a beating. But this was a marathon, not a sprint. As long as we took it slowly, we could deal with 1 pack of creatures at a time in a safe and controlled manner. We also got to pick up some loot drops along the way, but there was nothing super useful on any of them. Eventually, our expedition was stopped by a crystalline wall. While this could be torn down with a simple pickaxe, what worried me was the prospect of what waited beyond. The initial plan was to pack up our T-Rexes and throw them back out as soon as we got the space to do so, but we couldn't even get that far without getting attacked. So we pivoted and created a defensive line that Birdie and Echo baited those creatures into. Honestly, it was a lengthy process and a decision that was not universally supported in our tribe. And well, let's just say that sometimes slow and steady really does win the race.
That was down everything. I've been back up and stunned. No.
Bye, Birdie.
Okay, guys, I'm just gonna YOLO it and put the Rex down.
Obviously, that was a horrible idea. Following Birdie's demise, Echo also got stunned by Prolavia just after he summoned his Rex, which resulted in another completely avoidable death and a T-Rex that, on their own, could not survive. It was just Brandon and me now. Well, Brandon, me, and Clyde.
Oh, you have an otter. When did you get that?
A while ago, his name's Clyde. Do you like him?
Yeah.
You can get emotes for as little as $4.99 if you subscribe on Twitch or on YouTube.
Subtle plug for my emotes here. Anyway, because Brandon was capable of listening to instructions without getting impatient, the 2 of us managed to fight our way ahead. Words would have a hard time describing how long this took.
But numbers don't. Doing this pretty much took all of day 90. It took so long, in fact, that Echo managed to Dark Souls his way through the cave to catch back up with us. As for Birdie...
Guys, I'm cold.
Yeah, I'd rather not talk about that. Since Echo got his own T-Rex, my paying member killed, he had the privilege of piloting Mobile, knowing full well Birdie is probably going to have an aneurysm if anything was to happen to her. Keeping that in mind and trying not to die, the three of us finally managed to get to the artifact. The annoying part, there's no shortcut in this cave, meaning the way we get out is the way we got in, taking up even more of our precious time. Though to be fair, at least we got to pick up some drops. The final cave we had to conquer was the swamp cave. And I mean, am I gonna milk this run for drama knowing full well we've been farming cementing paste in here for days?
You have your gas mask on?
Yep.
Very cool.
Remember there.
Make it right. Brandon, don't.
I'm backing up. I'm backing up. I'm going forward apparently. Auto jump.
Oh my god!
Alright, I'm spamming space.
Brandon!
I don't control this guy.
Yes, I am. Besides Birdie dying 15 seconds into the cave run, obviously we came well prepared with a bunch of gas masks as well as our combat tames. Most of our enemies in here would be bugs that Buford could just eat and turn into cementing paste anyway, so it wasn't that big of a deal with all three of us alive. The big highlight was finding an absolutely insane Ascendant Rack Saddle blueprint that unfortunately was extremely expensive. Following that acquisition, we picked up the artifact and made way towards our base where we were going to start this boss fight.
I'm glad I could contribute a lot to these last two cave adventures.
Here's hoping he can pull his weight in the arena, because in order to defeat the dragon, we're going to have to do something we didn't need for any other guardian. Strategize. Unlike the Brute Mother and Megapithecus, this bad boy has different phases and mechanics that we need to play around. Our army was ready, waiting at the platform until a new drop arrived so we could use it to teleport to the arena. Our first course of action was splitting up the army. Echo was controlling half of it, with me taking the other one, so I whistled them into a corner where they are less likely to all get hit at once when the dragon shoots fireballs at us. Then I, and I alone, ran out on Sated to draw its attention. A few bullets from my newly acquired assault rifle were bound to achieve that, but to my dismay, it just didn't want to calm down. We needed to make sure we didn't take too much damage before it landed, though to be fair, that was easier said than done.
Oh, that's coming to me.
Oh boy, howdy. Why are these theories running around like maniacs?
Sorry.
Throw him, Cliff!
Is it coming down? Is it finally coming down?
Coming down.
Alright, theories. Mine over here. Oh, they just ate shit. Pooping now's a really bad time, Sated!
Flying back in the sky.
Okay, flyer face. Separate the theories.
Birdie, it's you meantime.
If you survive the first phase, good luck, because whilst that scaly bastard is raining down fire from the sky, you are going to have to contend with a flock of PTs and dimorphodons. Since boss aggro is usually based on the drag weight of the creature, and carnivores like Rexus take more damage from the dragon's fire, Birdie and Brandon's job was not to attack the boss, but stay healthy to deal with the flyers. If you recall, dimorphodons can attack the rider of a tame directly, meaning their job is extremely important, making it ever the more devastating that Birdie got nuked by a fireball. Echo had no choice but to abandon McGrattle and hop onto Mobile. The Daeodon's healing was not going to matter if we got killed by Dimorphodons, but that meant that our theories were taking a beating. Even with a few sweet veggie cakes in their inventory, they wouldn't be able to stay alive much longer without the Daeodon's help. And when Brandon also got burned to death, things were looking dire. Our only hope now was to unleash hell upon this thing with anything we got, because if it began flying just one more time, it was over. Oh no, we lost Delphi. Oh god, fire!
So close to dying, bro. Just keep shooting.
It's so close. Keep firing.
Just a little bit more.
Die already. Yes!
Let's go. Holy shit, dude.
We did it, even if just barely. With a few remaining seconds we had, Echo and I searched for the bodies of our fallen comrades to save and retrieve their equipment, but ladies and gentlemen, you know what that means, right? With the defeat of the island's last guardian, there was only one foe still standing between us and Ascension. The Overseer. Are we going to be able to finish our 100 days triumphant, or will we fall short in front of the final hurdle? I guess we'll find out next time. Today is the big day, my friends. Our 100 days on the island are finally coming to a close because we are about to challenge the final boss of this map, the Overseer. Well, actually, it's day 94, meaning we got 6 more days to finish any unfinished business. So before heading into the tech cave, let's attempt to knock some things off our bucket list. For one, there were a few creatures me and the boys still wanted to get our hands on. Birdie really wanted to tame a giga.
It's behind me, isn't it?
I really wanted to get a serratosaurus.
It's down to 14?
And everyone definitely wanted an otter because, well, they were jealous of how cute Clyde is. Now, because I'm the tribe leader, and this definitely is not up for debate, I decided we need to prepare for the serratosaurus hunt first. Turns out that's a pretty difficult endeavor, so in the last 94 days I've been collecting every single serratosaurus spine I could get my hands on. But in order to begin the taming process, we needed one more thing: blood.
I'm gonna need you guys to fill these up.
What do you mean fill what up?
No, the real question is how many times can I... Ooh, my health is going down.
I think I accidentally ate my own blood.
All right, later.
Why wouldn't you just heal?
They might be idiots, but they're my idiots. Listen, I'm not saying that stabbing a needle into your virtual character for 15 minutes straight to get poverty amounts of blood is a fun process, but it is what we had to do in order to get that tame. And because respawning at full HP is actually faster than trying to out-heal the damage you do to yourself, our base ended up looking a little messy. Though before we even got to that stage, I had to whip the gang into shape.
Oh, we're still doing that?
Yeah, what? Did you all just stop?
I mean, yeah.
And you've just been standing there?
Yeah.
With only 6 days left on the clock, we could not tolerate slacking, but in order to motivate them a bit, I did agree to show them around the areas where I had previously spotted some otters. Everyone was awfully excited about the prospect of getting their own, so who am I to deny them that pleasure? Though I did feel kind of disrespected when I spotted a level 150 Therizino after having defeated the dragon. Do you have any idea how much time I spent looking for these just to end up with a slightly below average army? Anyway, while they were busy looking for otters, I flew on over to Carno Island. This is where I got the majority of my Serratosaurus spines, so I figured if I slaughter enough of them, a high level will spawn eventually. I also took our little fob and transformed it with a few building pieces I found in nearby drops to function as a bit of a cage. Birdie was the first to find an otter, so he dropped by to help me with my project, and together we managed to find a Serratosaurus and successfully lead it to the cage. But unfortunately, this isn't your typical knockout tame. We needed 2 things: the hemoglobin cocktail we fashioned out of spines and blood, plus a fairly tanky creature. We had to feed the cocktail to said creature and then let the Serratosaurus chomp into it, getting it drunk in the process. Very, very slowly. I was fairly certain that 11 cocktails would be enough for a level 145, but when I saw that our Bronto was down to almost half of its HP, with the stupid Serrato just being 21% drunk, I realized that the problem wasn't the amount of booze. By the time it reached about 34% drunkenness, the Bronto had perished and I tried to do a running swap over to Jinx, but that's when we realized...
It's down to 14?
What?
I'm angry. Okay, we gotta get out of here. Can you lead it away?
This was a certified not good moment. We needed all of our most tanky creatures for the tech cave and overseer fight, so the best thing I could come up with was another Bronto. I mean, they've just been sitting here wasting oxygen ever since we tamed them, so we might as well get some use out of them. The stupid part, even with the saddle on, this Bronto took the exact same amount of damage as the previous one. The only other creature I had on me that could take a beating was Mobile, but in my frustration, I had not paid attention to my cryo sickness timer before tossing her out. But it could still work, right? It's not like you can't force feed creatures while they are asleep, so I should be able to get the hemoglobin cocktail down her hatch. We just needed to make sure virtually no time passes between it biting the Bronto and then Mobile. Brandon had also joined to witness the tomfoolery after finding an otter of his own, but unfortunately for us, things didn't go according to plan.
It's working, it's working.
You want him to eat Mobile?
Wait, why is it?
Yes.
Why is it dealing 400 damage? Why is it attacking me? Dude, it deals 400 damage.
Oh, this is bad. This
No,
is
no,
bad.
kill it,
This
kill
is
it, kill
bad.
it, kill it, kill it. We cannot let this happen. No, no, no.
Kill it?
No, 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 no.
Kill it?
Not like this.
Yeah, kill it, kill it, kill it.
Kill it! Kill it right now! Quick! What the hell? Dude, she was down to 2,900.
That went less than ideal. So it turns out that tames suffering from cryosickness take additional damage. Who knew? I definitely didn't. But listen, I know we just lost a 145 Serratosaurus, but I wasn't going to sacrifice our strongest Rex for it. Mobile has gone through too much with us for her to die like that. In fact, we were so determined to keep her alive that we decided to craft that ludicrously expensive saddle for her, the blueprint for which we found in the last episode. But needless to say that the Serratosaurus has left a bit of a sore spot on us.
How did the taming go?
Great. Awesome. We had a great old time.
Yeah, screw that creature. Since crafting the saddle would take a lot more resources, I decided we should first tend to the matters of the Giga. The first tame might have gone wrong, but Gigas are simple knockout tames, so I was feeling a lot more confident about being able to get that one for Birdie. Though such an endeavor would take the effort of our entire tribe, because we're idiots. Anyway, with a trap in my inventory, the boys and I made the way towards the location where Birdie had last spotted the giant beast. And boy howdy was that ever an intimidating creature. If we wanted to subdue this beast, we needed to do it the smart way. Yeah, Birdie, what's the plan? Stop stuffing your face and come up with a plan.
I don't know, bro.
You wanted it.
Just shoot it.
Echo.
Behind me, isn't it?
Run! Echo!
Oh my god, 400 damage!
Done is cooked.
Hey guys, just shoot at him, alright? Okay, now that certainly complicated things a bit. After seeing Echo get his PT mauled to death, I was not about to sacrifice my own as well. I mean, this was Birdie's idea, so why wouldn't he be the one to place the trap? Except the rest of the tribe had no confidence in him being able to do that, and as such, Brandon and Echo tried to make some magic happen. The problem with the Giga is that it needs an absolute truckload of narcotics to knock out, but because we're so close to the ocean, we were afraid it was going to torpedo run into the water and drown before we could tame it. But I mean, that's not my problem, is it? I watched them fruitlessly try to trap the Giga using metal gateways I crafted while sacrificing Echo to it over and over again. Eventually I decided, screw it, I'm the tribe leader and the most experienced ARK player in this group, so let me bless these poor souls with my epic gaming skills, which went really well until my PT got stuck in the Giga. At this stage I had to make a decision. Do I try to wiggle my way out, letting the Giga leave the trap, or do I sacrifice my PT in order to secure the creature? Well, it was a split-second decision, so I dropped down, placed the trap, and marveled upon how I achieved in 2 minutes what the rest of my underlings couldn't do in 20. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we got him.
Hopefully.
It only cost my damn pterodon.
No, I got Kiki out. Here.
Oh my god, you hero! Holy!
Guys, there's only one name we can give it.
Which is?
Giga
Giga
Chad.
Chad.
Okay. And with that, a legend was born, or at least so we thought. Now obviously, this was meant to be more of a trophy tame, given that we can't actually take it into the tech cave nor the Overseer boss fight. But it was such a low level with such incredibly awful stats that it literally dealt less than 400 damage a bite, making it virtually useless, especially considering that our T-Rexes are quite powerful. I mean, with mate boost, Mobile literally deals over 1,000 damage a bite. But now that everyone has achieved their personal goals, it was time to move the base as well as our dinos. Both our Therizino as well as our T-Rex army would come with us into the Overseer boss fight. Obviously, we packed up all of our bare necessities because even if we're not gonna end up spending a lot of time at the new base, we still wanted to make use of all the things we unlocked along the way. But it was a bit sad to think about how this was the last night we'd spent at New Man's Landing.
I gotta test it on something.
Nope.
Oh!
I guess it does kill it.
Why would you do that?
I didn't think it would kill it.
Isn't your gun like 200% or something like that?
It's only 310.
310? You shot it with a 310% rifle, and you're surprised that it died?
What's going to happen? Bro, look at him. He's mangled.
Oh no, I guess he doesn't use Arch anymore. Okay, a little bit of context to this drama. So Birdie decided to switch from Windows to Linux, and much like many a vegan, he just wouldn't shut up about how Linux is so much better, going as far as naming his otter after the Linux distro that he uses. Brandon, in note with Birdie's ramblings about Linux, figured he could teach him a lesson by knocking out said otter, not realizing that these things have basically negative HP. This definitely caused a bit of a divide in our tribe at a time where we really needed to work together. After having stuffed all of our most precious belongings into our birds, we made way towards the volcano to set up our final base for this series. Just that Brandon didn't make it to the mountain. While we were busy setting up camp, he was roaming the island in an attempt to find an otter to replace the one he killed. As for me, I spent the day harvesting some essential resources which at our new base location were absolutely abundant. Also spotting a level 150 serratosaurus which felt like a slap in the face. Towards the end of the day, when our metal was already smelting and everyone was ready to take a break, Brandon had finally arrived with a replacement otter.
Aw, that's so thoughtful of you.
Um,
We're even now.
I don't think we are, and I feel really bad, so I present you my apologies.
What the hell?
Alright,
Is this why you were gone for days?
Yeah, I found
hey
6.
Cliff, I got more otters.
I suppose everything was forgiven, and that just in time. It was about to be day 98, meaning we really only had one final day of preparation before we had to enter the tech cave. And we used that time to farm an absolute truckload of resources in order to craft Mobile the Saddle of Gods. And of course, mass produce some gunpowder on the side because Lord knows we're gonna have to pack some heat. I sent the tribe out to get some hide because we needed almost 16,000 of that stuff. But as it turned out, the boys had varying degrees of success with that quest. What's the bad news?
I don't like the way you pulled out the gun.
What's the bad news?
So, remember how I had Mobile out when Looten cried?
Yeah?
Mobile's fine, by the way. That's not the problem. So like I put mobile back in the cryopod, and I forgot to get the hide.
Cliff wanted hide. He's gonna get his freaking hide. He said we weren't gonna come back here, right? So, this is way more anticlimactic than I was anticipating. God, they have a lot of health.
Unbeknownst to any of that, I continued harvesting away, but gamers, resources alone aren't why we decided to set up camp here. I also picked out this mountain because within it slumbers the tech cave. So once we were ready, we would be able to toss our army out and begin our attack. Except you can't use cryopods inside or even in the entranceway, meaning we had to pop them out a little ways away before getting them into position. But because we were worried about some of them accidentally walking into the lava, Echo took it upon himself to use any leftover building pieces to create a sort of fencing around it. I continued diligently crafting ammunition, Birdie was on a treasure hunt, and Brandon was about to come back with all the hide he collected. In the evening of day 98, I went through the mind wipe ritual one final time. All of my points in the crafting skill, 2100 metal, almost 16,000 hide, and one button press later, we had a 200 armor ascendant saddle for mobile. And because all of our remaining resources would be useless if we fail this battle, I used what remained to gamble on higher stat rolls for armor blueprints we already owned. It was day 99. All of our tames were out of the cryopods, lined up and ready to take on the Overseer. I've put the boss trophies into the terminal, hit summon, and braced for impact. The gates opened, but we had no indication for how long they were going to stay open for. We began with a slow and careful approach. Two of us were moving our creatures past the gate, and the other two were taking them to move them deeper in. Everything should have gone smoothly, except this is ARK.
Okay,
What is up with this T-Rex? Holy... Bro, this game is esports ready, dog. I just want to play the game! God, wild card!
That's how I'm getting.
I'm losing it. I'm just getting stuck on air, literal air. Are there invisible tapes? Is that what's happening?
Maybe.
I think maybe because I don't see Rita.
Yeah, I see. No, I see you guys manifesting them. Like, genuinely manifesting them. On a straight. No, there's no need for you to turn. There's no need for you guys to turn. Stop it.
Hasn't been anything dangerous yet.
Don't stop saying that, bro.
it's not like, dude, you're just raising so many flags.
Real.
God, bro.
No sightseeing. Come on. Not the time to poop. Stop pooping. You're holding up the other guys.
You guys are just taking up 2 lanes.
I'm behind him.
Oh, you're not. Like,
I
you're not.
literally am, bro.
You're literally beside it.
Well, now I'm beside him.
Yup, a bunch of them are in the lava right now.
Ow.
Because they're dumb as bricks, that's why.
What is this?
What is this? Oh, don't touch that.
Don't touch that.
I think this is where we spawned the Overseer, Cliff.
Gentlemen,
Yep.
it's been a pleasure.
It was an honor.
Good luck, boys.
Yeah, getting everyone through the tech cave felt like an impossible task. Only 6 of our T-Rexes survived the gauntlet, plus the 2 that Brandon and Birdie were riding on, but at least most of our theories had made it. Day 99 was about to come to a close, as was our adventure. This is what we worked towards for 100 days. Every loot drop opened, every creature tamed, and every stupid, avoidable death led to this moment. Because now, there was no turning back. We had what we had, and with that, we were facing the Overseer.
Flies, that's flying things.
Oh no, they explode when you kill them.
Oh, that's really bad. Uh-oh, it's going for me. Why me? What did I do, bro? Oh, yo, what the? I got dismounted.
Holy. What the hell is happening?
It's losing health. It's losing health.
Holy crap.
I'd hope so. Roly police, roly police.
Get the rolly boys. The boss turned the dragon. It turned on the dragon. Send the fairies. The fairies need to be on boss.
He's aggroed on me.
Oh god, Birdie's dead.
That is why this fight is so tough. Not only do you have to survive the tech cave, but the Overseer itself can transform into every guardian we had already defeated. The dragon being first was extremely unlucky. Birdie got fried immediately and our Rexes were falling like flies. Not to mention all the tech constructs that were messing with us. The only saving grace was that the Overseer dragon did not have as much HP as the original. When it transformed into the Megapithecus, I thought we could catch a break until I saw it slam our creatures for over 1400 damage a pop. And to make matters worse,
Did Brandon die as well?
I don't know, man. I think it's just you and me.
Oh god. The flyers are so damn tanky, man. Another phase. It's a dragon again. Okay, we need the fairies over here. We need the fairies.
I'm coming.
Oh god, I'm on fire. Dude, why the dragon again? Why the hardest one? Oh my god, we're losing all of our Rexes.
things were looking dire, but I could not give up. I had a job to do, so I continued shooting down the drones whilst buffing our remaining dinos with Sated's Courage Roar. But just before we thought ourselves victorious, it had put up a barrier. I was fully expecting it to pull an Elden Ring move and reveal its final form, but at last...
Yes! Oh my god, we did it! And Mobile is still alive, holy crap.
Oh my lord. Okay, we have to go to the center. This was it. In the early hours of day 100, we had done it. The Broodmother, the Megapithecus, the Dragon, and now the Overseer. We had bested the island and earned ourselves this Ascension.